All right, good after or pre or over or whatever. Depends on where you're at. People all over the world tuning in. First thing I'm going to do is start with the show with. First time I read this, I got a little upset and just kind of broke up. I mean, this is a sad day, sad week, sad year, sad time in America. A man was murdered trying to stand up for our freedom. I do realize that. LaVoy Finicum was born January 27th, 1961 in Kanab, Utah, and was murdered the day before his 55th birthday on January 26, 2016. The boy was born to David and Nelda Finicum. He had six siblings: Sherry, Guy, Jody, Mill, Misty, and Toddy. Or Tatey? I don't know. The boy was married to Dorothea Jeanette Finicum on February 18th of 1994. Together they have had 11 children. Holy moly, that's a lot of kids. Sarah, Belly, Belle, Tell, Tawny, Ariana, Brittany, Mitch, Thomas, Shalise, Danielle, and Teen. Combined, they have 19 grandchildren, with 3 more on the way. The boy went to school in Page, Arizona. He served a full-time mission in the Dakotas for the Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I think that's Mormon. In which he was a faithful member his whole life. He served in many church positions, among them the Young Men's Program, Ward Mission Leader, Elder Quorum President, High Priest Leader, and member of the Bishopric. The boy worked many years in property management. His passion was helping children and ranching. The boy had over 50 foster boys over his time, who he was able to have in his home and mentor over the course of his past 19 years. He loved working on his ranch and teaching his children and other children how to ride horses, brand cows, and most of all, to follow Christ. The boy loved God, his family, and his country. He believed that the Constitution of the United States was inspired by God. He was willing to, and did, die while defending our freedom stated within. Funeral services will be held February 5th, 2016 at 2:30 p.m. in Kanab, Utah, Gav Stake Center, 1435 South McAllister Drive, with a viewing from 11 till 2. Now, although we will be at the funeral at the Stake Center, of course, will not be in the church filming. Arrangements were made with Hughes Mortuary of St. George and Mosdale Mortuary in Kanab. So we're going to the funeral, and we'll probably film the funeral procession for people can have some closure. I haven't looked at the chat room. I'm sure we really need the mods now. All right. So anyway, here is the full list of arrested. We only heard about the Notorious Six in the news. So USA versus BOBB Corwin Michael. USA versus BUNDY AMMON. US versus Joseph O'Shaughnessy. USA versus PAYNE, Ryan. USA versus BUNDY, Ryan. USA versus CAVALIER, Brian. USA versus Cox, SHAWNA. USA versus Santilli, Peter. USA versus Patrick, Jason. USA versus Emmer, Dwayne, Leo. USA versus Anderson, Dylan. So there's your list of the people that were arrested. At some point in the show, we're going to have some other guests here. And so we don't invade. In case people don't know, I'm not just running a YouTube channel. I have a radio station that's pretty huge. It's freedomslips.com. We have 2 studios over there with 90 hosts going on through the week, 24 hours a day on both stations. It's been busy, trying, and very frustrating trying to do all this at once. Of course, people give me some grief about every little mistake, but get off your ass and do it yourself. If you think you can do it better, and keyboard warriors, whatever. So I guess we're done with standby. What has to say? Yeah, I'll go ahead and add watchman. We're going to be taking calls. We have anyway. We have a new phone number. If you would like to call in, we get a cross section of American public and what they think and how they feel about all this. We're still working on seeing if we can get a hold of David Fry again tonight. That's a very complicated process to get in touch with him. We managed to do it for 3 hours last night. We had I took over almost 4 hours of calls. We fielded 1,095 calls. A couple people got hung up on accident. Of course, just completely overreacted to it. It's really hard to control a switchboard when you got so many icons up and so many people that just don't understand. Turn down your radio when you call in, and don't be making noise and standing in the kitchen while you're throwing glasses in the sink and stuff like that. What you doing, Watchman?
Not much. What are you up to?
Well, we're getting ready to just sum up Burns. I'm waiting for Sherry to get out of the mountains. She went up, and we got stood up again, apparently, by the sheriff in Grant County. So we just keep. We're not wasting any more time driving 300 miles round trip up there and back. But it's got to keep standing up. He's been taking a shellacking because it looks like he set him up, but the dude won't give his side of the story to anybody. So what is anybody supposed to think?
Right. Now, who are you referring to?
Oh, the sheriff in Grant County. I can't remember his name now. It's slipped my mind. So many names fly in and out of my head every day.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think of that guy's name. I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, Sheriff Palmer.
Okay, yeah.
So my brain has this Rolodex that gets bigger every day, and it just takes a little longer for it to spin.
Right on. So now was Sherry gonna try and possibly sit down face to face with David or anything? Or sorry, I was switching screens.
Sheriff Palmer or
no, with David.
Oh, we can't get to the refuge. The road's blocked, and
okay.
I am not going to send a nice little middle-aged woman. I put out a call for people that wanted to go, and we were paying, and I could not get. She was the only one that would go. So there you go.
Right.
There's America for you. A tiny, well-mannered, middle-aged woman went out there. We could not get anybody else, and that was it. Everybody else, I ain't going out there, man. So everybody wants to talk. Nobody, it's all good to talk Patriot stuff until it's time to do Patriot stuff, and everybody runs away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear you there. I made the comment earlier. I was talking to Jen, and I made the comment. I was like, we're the Marines. The Marines, they never leave anybody behind, but yet I know 4 people that have been left behind.
Well, here's kind of the problem I have with some of that is the fact they've chosen to be left behind. I mean, if they wanted to be not left behind, I have an army of people that will go get them out of there. But there's just kind of no reason to be there anymore. And it's time to move the fight to the next battlefield, which is either going to be Texas or New Mexico. We're not sure where the next fire starts. And we could use them there instead of in jail or dead.
Right.
You understand what we're saying? We can, as militias and people, we can move around way faster than the overburdened, over red taped people like the FBI and all that stuff. We can go in and get things done and get the hell out, and turn it back over to the people of the county And and it just and that's I asked him last night, not making any judgments. He's like, we're not going. And it appears because the reason they're not coming out of there is because one of the guys has some, I guess, felony warrants in another state, and so they're gonna pick him up on that, and so I don't know. There's kind of this kind of point, this kind of when you get to the point of when you're working with reason and working with emotion, and and I can, maybe if I was their age, I'd be the same way, but I'm not their age at this point. In my life, I'm cooler heads prevail, live to fight another day.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hear you there. I just, my thing is if they what's next if they leave the refuge? I'm not saying that they can accomplish anything necessarily out there, but if they were just to walk off of that property right now, what would be done? I mean, don't you think that?
Well, I'm sure the one will be arrested because of his other outstanding warrants. I have no idea what they would do with the other guys if they were unarmed completely. It's like I even sent a message, just go bury your guns, come back and wrap them up in blankets, bury your guns, come back and get them another day down the road and just go out of there, because here's what they're doing to them right now. And I'm very familiar with this tactic. These guys have a limited amount of supply of food. They've cut off their internet, so they have no entertainment except for each other. They're going to start getting on each other's nerves pretty soon because it's really cold, and they're packed into a tent. So, quite honestly, by looking at the videos, all I could see that they could arrest most of them for unless they clean up their mess, because, Jesus, if I had some soldiers that didn't police their area as bad as those guys did, they would be on KP for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but they need to police the area and all. But anyway, beyond that, what are they going to arrest them for? Illegal camping and littering? I mean, honestly, and as long as they don't bust them for illegal firearms possession, they'll try to trump some charges. There's no way they're not going to spend a couple of days in jail at this point. But, the FBI's tactic right now is to keep the population scared with that buildup at the airport. And they're just going to let those guys sit up there until they get bored and come out on their own, because they present absolutely no real threat.
Well, no, not in reality. I mean, it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard to deal with that situation from a tactical standpoint,
Right. And those guys might manage to pop off a few shots, and but I really don't see any. I see nothing but them doing. I see two outcomes: handcuffs or body bags. And I don't think them being martyrs is going to help the cause, because a lot of people are not sure even who they are. I do know that 3 of them were literally left behind when everybody bolted out of the refuge. David was at the chow hall. The other 3 were out on patrol, and they came back and everybody was gone. That's what he told us last night. I'm sure you were tuned in, right?
Yeah, I was tuned in.
And, at least his parents, who have not been able to get a hold of him, were able to make a call in and talk to him last night. I'm glad we were able to facilitate that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this number in. Hold on, watching. This is our new number for YouTube call-in line, and it has no codes or anything. I have to pay for this number in order to make it just easier. It's area code 702-605-4277. If you call in and get vulgar or just want to act like a disrespectful dick, I'll hang up on you. That is a known given. And then I will publish your phone number in our chat room. So that being said, you're welcome to call in. What we want to hear, we're doing a sum up on Burns. We're getting ready to leave Burns and head down we're going to the funeral first, and then we're going to bunker Bill to get interviews with all the Bundy family after that, and we'll be doing that over this weekend. And then we have the Idaho protest at the Capitol after that, and then I think we're heading down to New Mexico. I mean, it's just busy, and this costs a lot of money, folks, a lot of money.
So is there something in New Mexico that they're...
Yeah, they're trying to use some rare native mosquito to take a whole bunch of land.
Huh. That's
yeah,
interesting.
Right, and then you got I think it's Red River Gorge down there, where they're trying to take a rancher's not only half his land, but his house as well. Over time, rivers move, and they were using the rivers as their... the BLM was using the river itself as their... I can't think of the word. Their dividing line of who's stuff. Well, the gorge has moved, or the river has moved over years, and so now they're saying, well, everything is now mine, even though the river's moved. They're using the river as, a wandering river as their guideline. Out west, rivers can change 10, 12 miles one way or another over a course of 50 years, easy, because it's very soft sandstone or just sand. So that's going on. We got some stuff in the east going on. Our enemy probably isn't on the farms, but we have to protect the ranchers because that's where our food comes from. And Monsanto is behind a lot of this. They're funding a lot of this. Monsanto wants... I've always been a little bit of conspiracy theorist my whole life, but I don't know if anybody remembers or their ages, but back in the 80s, everybody may have noticed that our food corporations, where you get your food from,
right?
Beatrice was the name. They were taking over and buying up all the food companies, Libby's and Heinz and Stokely and all those name brands you see on the shelf. And and then if you go back and look at all these corporate lines going down the line, they're all interconnected.
Right.
So it all goes back into Monsanto. We've had the shotgun run off Monsanto, not just my farm, but every farm around here. We spent 2 days down in here running Monsanto off because they were trying to run out and put... they want to shut down our tobacco production here. This land, we do 36 acres of tobacco and 41 acres of grains. We rotate wheat, corn, and soybeans over the years and use a non-GMO. We use a hybrid, but we don't use any GMO seeds. Well, we have other farmers around, one other farmer around here that uses GMO because he gets subsidized to use the GMO. And the reason I figured out is the reason they're doing that is because, you get pollen blowing around, and they were out there. They just wandered in. I went out there with shotgun. It's like, what the hell are you doing out here, man? Who are you and why are you here? Because it was like something company, Monsanto Corporation. And, oh, well, I'm just setting bug traps. And I'm like, what bug traps? He's like, oh, I'm just setting these bug traps so we can keep an eye on the bug population here. And I'm like, okay, your truck says nothing about bugs. Your truck says Monsanto, and I know what Monsanto does. That's seeds, and you need to get off my property, and whatever you have in your hand, you need to give it to me, because he went out and took a soil sample too. You need to give that to me, and whatever else you have in your hands, you need to give to me as well, because it is now my property and you're trespassing. And we've had the guy, 3 other farmers down the road had to do almost the exact same damn thing, and they were not bug traps. They were pollen traps. They had a glue board on the back, a glue sample board on the back, so they can collect the pollen. And what they're doing now is they will, if your crops get crossbred with Monsanto patented seeds, they will sue you and take your livelihood away. And then we also have the tobacco issue, in which all the big tobacco states, which are over here in basically Appalachians down through South Carolina, North Georgia, stuff like that, what they're doing is they're buying out your tobacco. And a lot of farmers, they see big dollars at first, but don't realize They just lost their livelihood for the rest of their life. And, you know, some people see a $60,000 buyout check as a lot of money. But the problem is most people, when they get $60,000, they think they're rich for about a year, and they go through the whole damn thing, and now they have no farm. They're not allowed, they can't grow the tobacco. And in these states, tobacco is the top producing crop. You can make a few bucks on grains, but tobacco pays a lot more, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the tobacco industry. You know, I mean, you know, when you make a pound of tobacco as a farmer, you get about 7 to 8 cents a pound. Unless prices are up, you might get 18 cents a pound on a $100 bill. Now, realize that 100 pounds of tobacco makes approximately 1,000 packs of cigarettes. Tell me what a pack of cigarettes costs right now.
I don't even know. Maybe $6, $7.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
and low end brands are still, $3.25. Like,
okay.
I smoke cigarettes. I smoke Pall Malls, but and those are still, they're almost $40. So that's $4 a pack for just a basic generic. So think about how much money is being made, and 70% of that is taxes, because they're not just taxing the tobacco in a pack of cigarettes. 3 times when you buy the pack of cigarettes, you're paying 60-70% of that is the taxes. They're also, you have to buy tax stamps as a farmer to sell tobacco, and then when they sell that, when that gets auctioned at the tobacco warehouses at the end of the season, they get a 19% tax on that. And then you have a use tax when it moves from that to the tobacco manufacturer, which is the people that make cigarettes and stuff like that, chewing tobacco and all that. And then when it gets to you, now you're paying literally $3.12 a pack in Kentucky on a $4.20 pack of cigarettes. Now, is that right? I mean, I see nothing right. I see nothing right with that.
Hey, babe. Double check if you hear both of us. We had somebody saying that they just heard me and didn't hear Nighthawk. But I show your audio going out over the... Yeah, I hear him. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. She needs to pass that over or something. No, well, because she's saying she can only hear me and not... Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. All right. Anyway, let me give the number. I want everybody in America that is interested in standing up for their freedom to call in if you have something to say. It's area code 702-605-4277. And I'm going to go put that in my chat room. And if you want to put that in your chat room, and, give me a minute if you could there, Mike, and fill some air while I go to another computer and type this number in.
Can you Skype me, or did you already Skype me the number?
I can do that right this second. Give me a minute.
Okay.
There you go. There's the number.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
All right. Give me a second to go put this in mine.
All righty. And I'm going to put his... Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why you didn't hear us both. If I can find the right chat here. Here we go.
Yeah, it's everybody thinks this is, everybody's a critic. They think this is easy. I'm going from computer to computer. Jumping back and forth like a madman. The cats don't know what the hell I'm doing. They like to sleep in one chair or another when I'm out of it. And they're like, damn, dude, every time I get up, you run me into another chair.
Yeah. Usually when I run multiple computers, I don't even have monitors on the other ones. I always team view into them. But it's, if you're using a computer that needs a lot of resources for what you're doing, that's not a good idea.
Right. But yes, we'll be down there. Sherry can't go. It would be too of an expensive trip, but I do have somebody that's there, Patricia Aiken, who will be down there. We're going to go to the funeral first, and the day before and the day after, we'll be interviewing all of the BUNDY family. So, hopefully we can get all this taken care of and sum up and get ready for the next big bunch of noise. Area code 484, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, how are you tonight?
Not too bad. Who are you and where are you at?
My name is Kiro, and right now I'm in Texas, but I hail out of New Jersey.
All right. So what do you have to tell us?
I've been following this since the very, very beginning, and I've gone back and forth, and I like to think that I'm well seasoned on PSYOP, but boy, this really got me. And I see that divide and conquer and all that stuff, but as it is now, I'm totally convinced that the BLM and the FBI have, made this huge setup. But I guess my question is, I'm a disabled vet. I live off of $700 a month. How do we get involved? Like, how can we help you?
How the hell could you possibly live on $700 a month?
That's what I live off of.
Man, you're better than me. I got and thank you for your service as well.
Thank you.
We just, if you can't monetarily help support keeping our reporters on the road, you can help just by using social media to keep this going out. Watchman's doing this. I'm doing this. There's many others doing this. And we're trying to work on getting a little solidarity between the militias and the media and the alternative media, because I have never quite understood this. It's like I have my own radio station that's pretty big, but the reason we don't, some people haven't heard of us, is because we don't go around to all the other media outlets, try to swipe their hosts and try to cause trouble for them. We just mind our own beeswax and stay in our own box. And it seems to piss the other medias out because they can't argue with us if we don't go start anything.
Well, I fell into that kind of divide and conquer trap, and I'm a little ashamed of it, but it was so confusing because there was so much disinformation out there.
It is. It's confusing. I've looked at stuff and made mistakes myself, but the difference between me and others is I generally will go say, "Hey, I made this mistake. Yeah, I was a total thunderhead, and I fell into the trap." Because it happens to us all. The internet is just a firestorm of information coming from every side, and it's really hard sometimes to process it all and come up with your own decision, especially if you're not educated on not to say you're not educated, but if you don't know exactly what's going on, how it started, and the reason it's going on, then you're just seeing the action. You're not seeing the education that's going on. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do, but I considered myself very well seasoned on this, and I had my own radio show too.
Right.
But listen, it got me. It totally got me, and then I just saw all this, diversity, and I was ashamed of myself.
Right. Where are you at, radio station? Go ahead and give us a plug, man.
Pardon? I'm in Texas right now.
No, you said you had a radio show. What's your radio show?
Yeah, freethinkradio.com. It was the Pete and Peppy show. But actually, the reason why I, ended up where I am today is because we went against corruption in our town, and they went after my whole family, and it was very destructive. And we stood alone, and it just was unbelievable what the media does to discredit you and to. So I got it. I understood. And at that time, that was a few years ago, we're no longer on the air. We had to shut everything down. We had gag orders, all kinds of stuff. There might be some things floating out there still. I had some things saved. But it was really tough because they ruined our family. They ruined everything. It was horrible. They went after our children, and they just bullied up on us. So, I get it. I understand how, all that disinformation, all the headlines were just insane. I mean, what they wrote was just, and I didn't know how to counteract them. Like, how do you hold the papers liable for the disinformation when they're allowed to lie about you legally?
Right. What I did, I took a different strategy at this, which I can expose now because, I went at this in a whole different way. I started small and used word of mouth. I didn't do advertising. I didn't use any social media. I didn't take advertisers. I didn't bug other media companies. I built everything up. I very strategically mixed in shows of politics and patriots, right on in with psychics and conspiracy theorists. And we've had a few people that are not here now that were just plain up crazy. So, I purposely went to an effort to make us look like we're nuts until we had enough power to jump over the fence and go, okay, we're here now, and we got people behind us. And, many people kind of figured that out and understood. We're getting piled up with calls, ma'am. I want to thank you very much for calling in.
At any time, and thank you very, very much. And you know what? We're all going to make mistakes, but let's remember, together we stand. Okay?
Yes, we do. Or separately we hang.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night. All right. I think it was area code 304 is next. You're on the air.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
You know what? I'm tired. I've been up 16 hours a day since it started covering this the best I have my possible ability, but
well, I see where you all was covering cigarettes, and that's why I chimed in a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
Well, here in West Virginia, you pretty much can't do nothing. You can't smoke, and they've upped that tax. But here, you never do see where that money goes. I mean, you can't even buy a pack of cigarettes around here hardly. Unless you got a bunch of money behind you, they just raised the tax in West Virginia again, and they said it's to get the young people from smoking. Well, that ain't going to work because they're always going to smoke and they're always going to do whatever they want to.
Right.
I don't know.
Here's something. I was doing some research a couple years ago. I'm not a big fan of the whole chemtrail conversation you always hear. I'm sure they're doing weather modification, but everything's not a chemtrail out there. But I did some research on jet fuel and how much of it is being dumped in our atmosphere every single day. And then there's a lot of really bad stuff in there, like all the things that they say are in chemtrails are actually also in jet fuel. The aluminum oxide and all that kind of stuff. And then I got to thinking, what does the tar basically in tobacco, it will capture it will capture aluminum oxide if you breathe it in and then you cough it back up. Disgusting as that may sound.
Yeah.
Because the cilia in your throat when you're sleeping, when it's collected that through the day, it starts pulling that together, and then it all comes out in the morning. Anybody that smokes knows exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah. Well,
so maybe that has a lot to do with that, because aluminum oxide is highly well related with fluoride, and fluoride and aluminum have their own chemical properties that absolutely will burn your brain out, and it calcifies your what is that? Not the pituitary gland, but they call it
pineal. The pineal gland.
Yeah, the pineal gland. Yeah, it calcifies it. So, but that's just.
Well, see, I never really smoked. My theory was, if you're going to smoke and you're going to do that stuff, that's 10 times better than having somebody making meth in their torque.
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Of course.
And you should just leave them people alone. But now, don't get me wrong, if you're in a building and you're in a closed building, a lot of people can't handle, and you should have separate places on that deal.
Well, yeah,
But,
and it's
you
you
know.
know, quite honestly, it's ruined. You know, I spent 25 years as a musician living on the road, and it has killed the entertainment industry as well because they don't allow smoking in bars. But everybody knows that rock and rollers, they drink hard and they smoke hard. So.
Yeah.
All right, so area code 304. I appreciate your call in. I need to move on to the next caller. I hope this don't
no
get up.
problem. Yeah.
All right, you have a great day. Yeah, I hope this don't turn it. Last night it just got so confusing I couldn't keep up with it. All right, let's see.
Hey,
Who is-
Nighthawk.
Yeah.
I have a file I'm going to send you on Skype real quick,
Okay.
and you might read it. If you haven't seen it, it's a Harney County release from today. It's a statement. One of my listeners shared it with me.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me get that to you, brother.
All right, thank you. All right, next, let's see. I think it was 937 is next. I'm
Yes.
trying to keep up with the order. I'm sorry if
937.
I'm failing.
Hey, how are you doing?
Not too bad. You're on the air.
Hey, you know what? Starting to appreciate the effort. You know what? And just found you and watching, and my work slowed down because of all this and trying to pay attention. And you know what? Sometimes, and I understand now, and I'd see it in books. My grandfather would say it every now and again. He'd say, "No, sometimes ignorance is bliss." And I tell you what, and
Yeah.
there were times, and especially in the past couple of weeks, and I tried to stay and listen to everybody's messages. And again, I appreciate what you're doing, really do. I know everybody does, and you're wore out, and your energy's getting low.
Hold on.
But listen to this. Here's what I want to hit on real quick. Leadership. What if a guy like yourself that reaches a lot of people were to maybe try to establish, somebody in kind of a leadership role? Like I'm just using an example, like take a Rand Paul, for example, and people in the online community, patriots, truthers, start petitioning and saying, you know what, help us out with this, with legalities and so forth. And we just started moving along like that.
Well, you know, that would require a literal army of me having people with any kind of social media. I'm a social media ignorant.
Me too, but you're doing it. You're doing it now. I'm in Southwest Ohio. I know you are. I start getting the message out, and I watch it, and just nonstop, and I feel like I'm living in an easy chair next to you, listening to you speak for hours.
Oh, yeah, it's been 16 hours a day. And if you pop over to freedomslips.com as well, you can, we have, like I said, 90 hosts on air. We're 24/7. 24/7. And we also, after midnight, we have roundtables where anybody can call in and talk about anything all night long. It sometimes gets a little weird because it is after midnight and about half of them are drunk sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's the ones they like to show. They like to show out on the liberal end and look at these crazy people, what they talk about. And they take these clips and, of course, not a big fan of that. But I guess we can do the same thing and show a guy with, purple feathers and a miniskirt, dancing through downtown Washington, D.C. Of course, we're bad guys if we do that.
That's the truth. And yeah, we are working on that. Actually, I've had some people contact me today. I'm not sure how legitimate they are. They said they're paranoid patriots. Well, I'm a paranoid son of a bitch too. And people keep trying to get me to give out my home number. You're not getting it.
That would be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All right, man. Listen,
I
go ahead and finish your final statement. I need to move to the next caller. I got people hanging up. I think we're making it way
okay.
too
Move
long.
to the next caller, but at some point in time, take a little time, make you a little paragraph, and say, you know what? And there's a way to get some kind of leadership established. I mean, you're doing it now. Spokesman, you can start to establish. I mean, almost a small online truthers kind of government, so these guys aren't constantly gunning each other, and that way they would weed out weed out all the silly stuff. I mean, weed it out immediately because everybody would be in tune with, and this guy's not going to hammer this guy's got to hammer, and just those few, and it would get so much bigger,
Well, yeah, and
It would get
exactly.
so
And
much
of course, there's just, everybody's being competitive for the views. So, I was on YouTube heavy for about 2 years, and then YouTube took down my channel. After we covered Sandy Hook and then the Boston bombings, and I put out the unedited 911, or excuse me, the unedited scanner things, and the next day my YouTube channel disappeared, and it took me, and I had to rebuild from scratch. So, thanks for calling, man.
Leadership. Thanks
All
a lot.
right.
Bye.
You have a great day. 937 out. All right, area code 817. You're next on the air with Revolution Radio here at freedomslips.com and Weaponized Talk Radio at YouTube. Thank you for calling in. Area code 816. Code 816. You're on the air.
816.
Yes, that's you. You're on the air, ma'am.
Hey, I just want to say that just like the previous caller stated, I found you random by being up all night listening to all this crazy stuff going on. And then when you were talking about the Monsanto stuff that you had experienced, I'm a former nurse that got sick of what I saw was going on with people with, the pharmaceuticals. And there's a lady that's reporting on all these holistic doctors that are being murdered or, having deaths that aren't really, no one understands why they died. They're healthy people. So from the aspect of Monsanto, the stuff going on with the food, from the aspect of the government with the land, from the aspect of pharmaceutical companies, I just see like a revolution happening. And the way that you're covering all this, you should get someone to do your social media and get your reporting out there. And
I suck at it. I have a Twitter account. I checked it 6 months ago. I don't even know. I cannot even figure out how to actually use it right. It's like, plus I'm just so busy,
Well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
You need to find someone that you trust that would man that stuff for you.
Right. I had somebody that was helping me do it, and then what they did is they started injecting their own business ads. They started injecting their own business ads for vapor cigarettes into it, and it just kind of.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So everybody ran away.
Well, have you heard about the doctors, the chiropractors, the holistic doctors, and these other doctors that are we're on the cutting edge of curing cancer that were murdered?
Oh yes,
dead?
Yes, I have heard about a lot of that going down.
So don't you think from all these different aspects that really something's getting ready to hit the fan pretty quick?
Well, here is kind of, it may seem like a weird opinion to many. We have a woman that does a show every day at noon here on Studio A. Her name is Robin Falkov. And she basically she's our reporter that follows that stuff on a very hard-learned nature. Her husband is Richard Hoagland, if you're familiar with the old Art Bell show.
Yeah.
Her husband's Richard Hoagland. He's on there once in a while covering some of that stuff. But, basically she follows that stuff. I would suggest you click into her show and hook in with her on her Facebook, because it's like I can't follow everything. I just don't. There's not enough time in the day. But she's our person that and then she'll she gives me summaries each day, kind of lets me know. She schools me up in shorthand.
Well, I just really, like I said, I feel like I know you by listening to you every day for the last couple of weeks.
Well, hey, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for what you're doing, and
hey, I appreciate your call in and the attaboys with all of us. I mean, it's more than one of us. There's everybody involved. Watchman has been rebroadcasting some of our stuff, and many others have been rebroadcasting some of our stuff. Helps get the word out there. And
Yeah, whenever people, it was yesterday. Wait, oh, no, I'm confusing my days, but Monday, yeah. Like you would go down, and then I would go to someone else, and they would go down, and then I'd go to another channel, and they were going down, and I was just like, this is so jacked up, and it's not random because I have an awesome Wi-Fi connection, and. Right.
Well, the thing that's kind of annoying me right now there on social media is like, every morning I'll go out and I just type, I just use the keyword Oregon standoff and then just get everything for the last 24 hours. And it is literally, except for very few people, it is just one guy reporting the story of the next guy ahead of him.
Yeah.
But, and you're not getting much real information. The old Marine's been doing real good. BP Earthwatch. BP Earthwatch used to be a co-host on a show here a long time ago. And I think he got ill, and then I lost contact with him. He's going under a different name at the time. But it just takes the efforts of everybody and getting anybody to work together and stop competing. I've had
right.
I had a copyright strike, and they took down a 3-hour video we did the other night called The Patriot Report. And it was because we played the Kennedy speech that we played. And I had to take the damn video. It was a 4-hour video, and there was some good stuff on there. And I'm going to repost it when I get time. I got to go back and find it in my saved files, because when you do a live stream with my software, it saves your video. So I can go cut that out and put it back up there. I've just not had time. Rendering video, especially when it's like, a 6 gig video file, is not a fast render.
Yeah. And what's the name of the lady that is live for you? Is it Sherry?
Yeah, Sherry with Readout News has actually been my reporter on this.
Well, big shout out and thanks to her.
Yeah, she has been incredibly awesome through this. I'm going to try to add her in. I don't know if she'll answer. She was up in the mountains earlier, and I'll try to add her in. She couldn't get to us before. But ma'am, thank you for calling very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Have
All
a
right,
good night.
You too. You have a great day. Area code
Thanks.
72. Hey Sherry, how you doing? Well, we're
still in Oregon, but we are getting very close to the Washington border.
All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you went. You were in town and then you were gone.
Yeah, but you told me to go home and sleep for a couple days.
Yeah, you need to. You need to. Yeah, I mean, and you have just got incredible shout outs from our listeners, and both on YouTube and at the radio station and everywhere else. I've got email after email about what an awesome job you were doing, but I just didn't really see any reason for you to not get any more sleep. It's just like, go home, get some rest. Let's wait for the next fight.
Well, that's it. Now, we do have some things coming up on the book. First off, I want to ask you about this new channel you've got going here that you called me on. Is this strictly for YouTube, or how is this one working?
I didn't understand what you said. Can you say that again? You're really low in volume.
Okay, let me see if I can. I've got you on my speaker in my car.
Oh, okay.
So let me hold my phone up and see if is this any better?
It's a little better. Just say it again, and I'll stick a finger in here and tune in.
I wanted to ask you about this new channel that you called me on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the reason why I did this is last night we fielded 1,095 calls in 3.5 hours, and it was interrupting because the calls, if I missed them, they would go over to Studio A where other hosts were trying to do their own shows, and then they'd be doing I had one doing a show about super soldiers and another one doing a show about something else, Planet X or something like that, and people were calling in, yeah, where's Nighthawk, or the tarp this, or something like that, and they were like, what the hell is going on? So I created a new account with a new phone number, so we can take calls here without interrupting, our other volunteers.
How many channels you got going now?
I have two. I have Studio A and Studio B with 90 hosts running on the radio station. I have the Hawk's Nest, which is running my own, where I do nothing but just do Patriot stuff, and then I have this YouTube channel.
Well, you're doing really good there, Hawk. Very impressive.
I'm really tired. Actually, no offense, I'm glad you're going home. I'm going to sleep all day and watch TV and eat food. It seemed like every time I sat down to eat something, Sherry, I'd be waiting on Sherry, and then I'd go, okay, well, she's busy and stuff, and I guess I'll go eat something and watch something on TV or something and just kind of chill. And it's like, it was about right then, Sherry go, are you ready? Let's go. Ah!
I know, when I get something going, it's like, instantly, it's get it up there fast.
Right. All right. Stand by, Sherry. We have somebody's been waiting very patiently. Area code 724. You're on the air. Area code 724. Area code 724. You're on the air. All right. Oh, well, here comes unknown phone number, vulgar mouth. I'm not answering the call. If you won't display your number or you try to hide your number, I will not answer the call, period. And if you call in, because I want to see your number, if you call in and just try to act like a vulgar jerk, I will publish it in our chat room and we'll troll you right back. Anyway, go ahead, Sherry. What was your take on your entire experience in Burns? And I'm talking about from the beginning, when we sent you out there the first time through now. What do you think about all this?
Well, I wonder how things are going to happen now that Ammon and his brother and everybody is in jail. They were really building up quite a following. When I first went out there, I probably have to say, the more I look back on it and I go through my notes of all the people that I talked to, it was probably the majority was against him. But they worked hard at it. They interacted with the people. They spoke everywhere they could. They went and ate in town at different restaurants so they could interact with different residents. And they actually swung the pendulum to their side. So that's where they were at last week. They had the majority, even if it wasn't a large majority, they were getting the majority onto their side. And Grant County asked them to come and speak to them about these same issues. And I do believe that was one of the triggers that alerted the federal government that, as some of these legislators have called, this, quote, virus, unquote, was starting to spread outside of Harnett County, and they had to shut it down. And I think, like I said, that was one of the triggers that made it happen as fast as it did last week. Have you seen any updates for us? I don't know if the standing on everybody's case today has been traveling. Hawk? Hawk, are you still there?
I got too many mute and unmute buttons here.
At least you didn't fall asleep.
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to. I got about another hour and a half, Emmy, and then I got to go. Do remember, keep posting these numbers in the chat rooms so people can call in or they lose them. If you could, moderators. No, I have not heard anything extra. I didn't get that document from you, Mike. Did you send it to? Did you send it to this channel or did you send it to the other one?
Yeah, I sent it to this one. I'm seeing that yeah, well, I showed it up there. I don't know what happened. It's got an X on it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Oh. Let me send it
Okay,
again.
All right, go ahead, Sherry.
have we updated everybody on Shauna Cox's son-in-law?
Yeah, we actually ran that on a video. I ran that right after your rancher interview.
Okay. It's my understanding that they have decided to let O'Shaughnessy out on bail. Is that right?
You know,
But
I have not gotten up to
they've
the.
not decided on Pete Santilli.
I've gotten up to the court earlier today, but I have not in the last few hours. I mean, I'm 3 hours behind everybody, so I don't imagine I'm gonna see the filings unless they're out now. Until about
Well,
now.
I think there was a headline. You might Google it. I think there was a headline that O'Shaughnessy. I think the prosecutors were appealing the decision to allow him to postpone.
All right. Well, if somebody could find that and yeah, if somebody could find that and Skype that to me. I'm juggling chainsaws right now.
But it is also
I
my
see.
understanding that Santilli has not been awarded bond, which is, very confusing in some respects.
Yeah, I just don't know about all that. I'm retaining any kind of judgment or idea or opinion until we know.
Well, even when we know, I'm not sure we're going to agree. So
Right.
there's a lot of confusing points about this entire case.
Yeah. Okay. We have another caller. Area code 724. Who dat? Where you at?
Hey, what's up? Sorry,
What's
I had to take a piss earlier, so I hung up. So.
Okay. Well,
But back now.
Thank you for too much information. Go ahead.
Well, it's better than 30 seconds of like pretending
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
water
Yeah.
falling in the
Anyway,
background.
go ahead. What?
But,
Who dat? Where you at? What you doing?
I just again wanted to thank you guys so much. Called in a couple times and just thanks for all the effort that you guys are putting in. I mean, I know we're all on Oregonian time right now, and you guys are, I'm sure, losing a heck of a lot of sleep as a lot of other people are. But
Yeah.
this is Reggie Beans, by the way.
I tend, for years I tend to live. I'm a radio guy. For years I tend to live in GMT, and now I'm having to live on Pacific time. It is really giving me jet lag.
Right.
We also have Sherry, who has been a reporter out there on the phone. You have anything to say to her or a question to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to see, Sherry, what kind of backlash is, if any, are the reporters getting out there? Like, how far away are they keeping you guys from, well, I guess one would be the roadblock, or the closest to the refuge. And is there any, like, negative reaction from the actual townspeople to the outsiders just trying to cover what's going on?
Oh, those are good questions. Very good questions. As far as the refuge, we got between 5 and 6 miles away from the refuge, and they had cones set up. We took a picture of that. I thought I sent it to you, Hawk, but I'm not real sure. I may have missed that one. They didn't have any cars out there, but we're pretty sure they had cars a couple of miles in from that. It's just different stages, different checkpoints.
Right.
So I don't believe there was going to be any allowing of anybody into the actual refuge at all. As far as in town, the courthouse is still locked down. We confirmed that even the residents are not allowed to go into the courthouse and do their regular business in there without specific permission. And that goes beyond, it goes beyond just searching them for weapons or anything like that. We had one resident tell us he was trying to go in there and look through some of the documents. He was trying to search for some information, and he was not allowed to go in there and do that.
Wow.
It's pretty sad when the residents do not have access to their courthouse.
Right.
There are still armed guards out there carrying ARs, etc. Yesterday's rally is where we got the most negative comments from some of the residents. They didn't want to talk to us because we were not mainstream media, and they didn't like how we were not reporting it like the mainstream media. They wanted it reported in a liberal view, and if it was not, they would not talk to us.
Hey, Sherry.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I've got a question. Of those out there that were with the liberal views, do you think they were all really local residents, or do you get the feeling at all some of them were bussed in or came in from other places?
Oh, I definitely had the feeling they were brought in. There were several local residents. Most of them worked for the government. They started out on their lunch hour, and they had to go back to work after first hour. But there were several that admitted that they had come from other counties around, Grant County specifically, and a couple of other areas. They were telling me they were bussed in, or rather they were brought in one way or another.
Okay, well, I
So,
read an
so
article.
Sherry, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, so it seems like the townspeople are fine with media being there as long as they fit their narrative.
Well, that's
Is that-
everybody wants the narrative, I guess. We want to take back the narrative. So I
Right.
suppose I can understand that to a point. But, at the same time, we may want to take back the narrative, but we are willing to show both sides, which is what the liberal media is not willing to do.
Right. Yeah, there's a little bit of hypocrisy going on there with them getting mad at you, showing them, and so stay strong out there, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Sherry, you've been doing an amazing job out there, and you've gotten a hell of a lot of respect.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I do have a pretty good example of that mainstream media spin. If y'all want to go to my website, readoutnews.com, we posted an article. It was first posted on oathkeepers.org, but it's also been reposted on our website. And if you read that article about the protest yesterday, and scroll down, I've got a couple of photographs from the rally, after the rally actually, in which media outlets tried to set up a TV broadcast showing just the left point of view. And the Patriots turned around and would not let that happen, and they blocked it. So the pictures are pretty awesome in showing their spin and how they do it.
Yeah, this whole thing has been monumentally strange. And the news moves so fast and intelligence moves so fast. I told you and Oath Keepers several days ago, I had spotted two, U.S. owned airplanes, government owned airplanes headed into Idaho. And I got somebody down to the airport, and they checked it out, and they said a bunch of basically black, SWAT kind of guys got off the airplanes. They got into two short buses, and they took off in the direction of Oregon, and following behind them was one of those car carrier things that was full of snowmobiles. I was trying to figure out how the hell all those guys got in there. All those snipers got into those trees and behind there without leaving a single footprint in the snow, and that kind of explains it. They snowmobiled their ass in there, and they were ready for them.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it.
And
by the way, I have another headline for you.
Hold on, caller. Yeah, callers, when you call in, wait till Sherry. Hold on. Callers, when you call in, wait until we call your area code and to jump in, because we're moving. You never know how many calls are on the line. Go ahead, Sherry.
Just,
Hey, is it me?
I'm sorry.
Ignore it, Sherry. It's a caller that called in that didn't listen to me.
No, that's okay. It gets a little bit confusing on a radio show. I understand that. But as everybody was distracted, it burned. Now, if y'all don't know, I am from Idaho, and one of the prominent issues right now in Idaho is Muslim refugees. Well, while everybody was distracted, it burned. Obama sent 200 Muslim refugees into Boise yesterday.
Oh, yeah, there's 900 kinds of distractions going on right now. But mainstream media didn't cover this at all.
Well, I'm telling you, we're going to cover it. I think Fred's writing up the article as we speak.
All right. All right, area code 360, it's your turn.
Hey, is it me?
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, I've been
Well,
following this
hold
really
on.
closely
Hold on.
since day one.
Who's that and where are you at?
Everybody on YouTube knows me as Wood,
Okay.
and I'm in Washington State.
Awesome. All right, go ahead.
I've been following this really closely since day one, and one thing that we know for sure is we're doing something right because of, look at the mainstream media and the narrative. I don't know if you've caught it yet, but did you see the chopped up version of the interview with Victoria that CNN put out today?
Oh, yeah.
It's edited and chopped up, and they're trying to convince her that she didn't see what she saw.
Yeah, it's mangled, and we don't only just have Victoria. We have two with Shauna Cox, which the two of them are almost exactly the same. There's really not much of a change. I mean, every time you think about something and remember something, your mind tends to change it a little bit. I mean, that is just,
Okay.
as a just any psychologist will tell you that. But these narratives are not really changing much. It's, because of just, it was so horrible what happened to both Victoria and
Okay, but
Shauna Cox.
here's what we should be focusing on, guys, as a group. Is in every single narrative, everybody's focusing on when LaVoy got shot.
Yes, they
The
are.
key factor that we need to be focusing on is, did they shoot at LaVoy when Ryan Payne had his hands out the window?
We know
because,
that.
Because LaVoy had his hands out the window too. If they shot at him then, does that not change the rules of engagement? Also, I went back and watched the FBI, the questioning after his speech, after he gave the official statement. And you listen to the questions they're asking, he says they started firing on LaVoy as they approached the roadblock.
Yes,
So who is the aggressor here? Who set up the aggression? Who fired first? The police were never in danger, and they started firing first. That's what we need to focus on. That changes everything. Because there's a reason why they released a video with no audio, and it does. It looked like LaVoy reached into his jacket, but you can't tell if he's getting shot or if he reached into his jacket.
All right.
Both eyewitness accounts are being downplayed like they're stupid. Everybody went with Mark McConnell's thing. Even the mainstream media went with Mark McConnell in the first. It just completely disregarded Victoria's statement. Then Shauna's statement comes out. Now they're disregarding that one too.
All right.
We have to focus. So we can give them that, but we should be focusing on, did they fire on him when he was stopped? That changes everything.
Yeah, let me catch you on several.
Is that your name? Did I get it right?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right?
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. You have brought up some very, very, very good points. I do want to clarify one thing for myself. When you talk about who shot first, I have not heard that the Patriots fired any shots at all. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
that? Is there only shots from one side, and that would be the federal government side? Is that correct?
No. Yeah, you must have misheard me. I'm saying if they shot at LaVoy's truck when LaVoy had his hands up the window and Ryan Payne had his hand up the window, and if you have a big screen TV and you watch it on you have to be on a big screen because then you can plainly see Ryan Payne's hands. Watch how fast he jerks his hands back in the window. Like, what the F was that?
Yeah,
you can see it plain as day.
Hey, everybody,
Payne?
everybody hold on
Ryan
a second.
Payne.
Can anybody hear me at all? Can anybody hear me at all?
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody hold on a second. Apparently you haven't seen some of the previous videos I posted. All right, I got some BBC footage that they got out of KOIN that shows the first truck, the Jeep, with the guys on the ground, AMMON and all the guys that were there on the ground. The back of that Jeep's windows were shot out. I circled it several times.
No, I haven't seen that.
All right, and if you want to get even more detailed footage, unless you've gone up to the FBI site and found it, you can go to freedomslips.com/drone footage and download that. The detail is better, the color is better, and it's not so grainy, because I have noticed, even though I think that's either 430 or 720, when I try to upload it to YouTube, every time they cut it back to 360, and it just kind of looks like it's just bad video. So go look at that if you
Hawk,
can.
let me ask you a question. Hawk, I need to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
The Jeep with the window shot out of it. Was that Mark McConnell's Jeep?
Yes,
or
that was
another?
yes, that was McConnell's Jeep, and the
Okay, let me tell you something else. We saw Mark McConnell's Jeep on Friday, and it was fine.
well, they probably fixed it.
How many other gunshots were there in the Jeep?
Exactly, and I think the only reason anybody lived is because we also have another news report out of Portland. I don't have the link to show it to you, but it is in our past videos. Somebody that was just driving from Burns to where they were headed came up on that scene right as it was going down. And I think the fact they had just common everyday people driving up the road came up on the scene and saw it and started filming and taking pictures is the only reason anyone survived this. Because now we had civilians, a man, his wife, and his kid. They can't just, my wife goes, well, they could have just killed them. Well, I'm like, how would they explain that? So now they had to change their game plan. And so, and we talked to Sheriff Denny the other day, and he said very clearly, LaVoy made a choice, defend yourself or flee. And he made a choice not to jump out with guns blazing and try to flee to safety to the sheriff in Grant County, and it didn't happen. And when he hit those spike strips, he lost it. There was no way he could do anything but run into that snowbank.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we have to go off the bullshit that they're spoon feeding everybody.
Yes.
And if you watch the questioning, that when the FBI guy takes the questioning at the end, he's asked, "Is there any more video footage?" And he says, "Yes, there was another one, but it wasn't that good." And they asked, "Well, is there anything besides that?" And he said, "No, this is going to be the video we go with." People, they picked this video for a reason. It has no audio, and it explains their narrative. So off of their video, but off of their video, guys, what we can focus on is why did they shoot at LaVoy when he was stopped in the middle of the road? If they did, then he felt his life was in danger, and he had every right to take off.
Yes,
we
actually,
Okay,
you can
that's
see,
not
if you go to the video.
understanding.
Hey, Sherry, hold on. This is a radio show with a bunch of people on it. We got to go in a circle. Hold on. Anyway, I had somebody show me the timestamps, and you can see the sparks of when two bullets, one hit the top and one hit the rearview mirror. You can see it when it happens in the better definition video. All right, go ahead, Sherry.
That's not on your YouTube?
Huh? You
That's
can't.
not on those videos you're talking about. You can see that shit not on your YouTube.
You cannot see it on YouTube because YouTube, when I upload it, they downgrade the quality automatically to 360.
So go to freedomslips.com and look for them?
Yeah, freedomslips.com/drone footage. I went and nabbed it off the FBI site itself.
Hey,
Well, someone's
Nigel?
making. Hello, everyone. Hawk, thanks for dialing me in here. It's
And no
Patricia.
problem. We have Patricia Aiken online as well. She will
You know,
be.
Hi
they
there.
somebody analyzed this film and said there were at least 64 frames missing from their unedited video.
All right,
You
hold
know,
on.
we live in an opposite land.
Let
You
me
know,
hold
whatever
on.
the FBI says, look in 180 degrees in the other way, and you'll come up with the truth.
Hey, Patricia, hold on. That drone was shooting 60 frames a second for 28 minutes. That's 10,800 frames a second, and they only lost 50 frames. That's approximately 1/9 of a second.
Oh, well, somebody else said they timed it and they were watching some stuff, so that's fine. But they're giving you the very crappiest footage they have. Where are the dash cams?
Yeah, I want to see all of
Where are
it.
the body cams?
See, now I'm under the impression from listening to talk radio here in Washington State, that Oregon State Police have to carry body cams
Yes, they
by
do.
law.
They have to carry
So-
lapel cams and dash cams. Okay,
But the FBI has already come
everybody-
out and said that we're not going to get that. That the only video they're going to release is the drone video. That's the one they're going to go with. That's what they said. Because even here on talk radio, you know, because I'm kind of in the area, I'm about 7 hours away. They're saying that it was an absolute total mistake for Oregon State Police not to release any video the same day the FBI did. Buddy, I don't think they can. I don't think they can release it.
No, they're not going to be allowed. Sherry, you're next. Go.
Well, the FBI fact did say that it's not that there isn't video out there, it's just that it's unavailable, and they're very clear. It will not be released. So the only way to get that is through the Freedom of Information Act request. If everybody bombards them with it, it's going to end up coming out.
Right, and that's been done before, and sometimes it takes a year to get that stuff out. I mean, we have
So
seen.
this is where we come in then, guys, because they're expecting everybody to just forget about it.
Right.
They're expecting everybody to forget about it. Average attention span's what, 7 minutes of an American, and then they want to know who's going to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We can't, and I don't see this as I'm not going to let this go.
Oh, we're not going to let this
You know?
go,
I
and
know.
this is going on to the next. I need everybody to pause up 1 minute. Patricia, how you doing today?
What?
I was talking to Patricia Aiken. How you doing today? And she's either ran to the bathroom or muted herself.
Oh, there we go. I'm right here. I kept clicking the microphone and it wouldn't turn it back on again. So I'm sorry, I was on mute while I was checking for something. This is Chicago.
All right, hold
And
on
they
a
say
minute.
last month the Chicago police have been sabotaging their dash cams. Chicago Police Department found that 80% of its 850 dash cams do not record audio, and 12% don't record video either.
All right, Patricia, the reason I called on you specifically was because I need to let you know, let the listeners know you're going to be at the funeral up in Utah, and then you're going to drift back down to Bunkerville and interview with the Bundys, right?
Well, I'll probably see the police at the funeral. I'm sure they'll be there.
You're breaking me up. You're breaking up.
Okay, hold on. Let me. It should straighten out. Just give it here. I just turned off all my other tabs there, so it should give me more bandwidth.
All right.
Better now?
There you go. Much better. So you're going to be up at the funeral, and I'm sure all the Bundys are going to be there. So we will be having an interview.
All the ones that are not in prison.
All right. All right. So there we go. I mean, listen, folks, there's a lot of people on the call. It's not, 90 like last night. And now my wife is starting to produce on another show. So I'm getting some background noise back there. I'm sorry that's going to happen for about 4 minutes till she gets set up. We have callers coming in. Let's see. Let me check my order here so I don't run people off. Area code 443. Area code 443. You're next.
Yes, sir. That would be Tom from Maryland. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I wanted to introduce myself. Thank you for producing what you are. I've been very interested in the incident, and it's something that myself and several others have been working on relative to bringing our country back to a lawful state. And again, I just wanted to introduce myself and find out if you had a public relations and legal department. I don't know how big your organization is. I do have some ideas and some expertise that I'd like to share with you if you would like. This may not be the proper forum. However, you have my number, and if you'd like to set a time to speak, we can do that. However you'd like to take it from here.
Hawk, are you there?
Taco Bell's cool too.
Is he a lawyer? Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not. I'm quite familiar with the law and the courts. However, I'll fully disclose to you that I've worked for the government my entire career, starting out with municipal. I worked for the state, and I worked as a federal liaison, Department of Defense liaison with local law enforcement. So my area of expertise is quite unique and quite broad. And like I said, I'd like to speak with someone there and share the ideas that myself and some of my colleagues have relative to reaching the same goals that I believe many of you have. Like I said, I would do that. If I could leave you with this, I was watching last evening. Now, early in my career, I worked with at-risk youth, and I was quite concerned about the kids that are still up. That someone informed me last night that they're not necessarily kids, that they may be in their mid-20s. However, they did seem, I don't mean this in a disparaging way. They seemed childish in that, not that they were acting childish. I think they're quite brave, as a matter of fact. But they're rather naive, and I saw a lot of people, whether they had good reason or not, kind of pumping them up to expectations that probably were not necessarily in their best interest. And I'm concerned about, how we might be able to get them out of there safely before they risk any more damage that could occur to them personally or legally, and that's something that I think is probably, on the table as probably the most exigent thing that we should work on. I was hoping to get a hold of the young man last night, but the chat on the phone line was just terrible. It was no way for me, even after holding for several hours to get through. But I'm concerned about them. Like I said, they seem like very well-meaning folk, and they just seem like they could use some stern guidance as to the fact, as you're informing them, the fact that they've done, something very brave, and they can be proud of it, but it's time to not risk their safety any longer, and we should just look for a way for them to get out of there as quickly as possible, because, listen, like I said, I know that there are elements in government that don't care about their safety, but at the same time, and I'm not, trying to put any false ideas about what the government is like, but you have a lot of people in government that actually do
I had to hang up on Sherry. There was this incredible noise going on that was just blowing everything up. I guess she's still back in the mountains. So I lost my caller because I had to go back to what I was doing. We lost a bunch of callers there because the noise was just so ridiculous. I don't. Patty, were you paying attention? Was it? No, okay. Not enough Skype credit. I got
Yep.
freaking
Yeah, I'm
tons
paying
of.
attention.
Was that 443 that we were talking to?
I believe so.
All right, it's saying I need Skype. I guess I gotta. This is a new Skype channel, and I gotta go grab some Skype credit. The person that just called in, call back in. The phone number, grab a pen, 702-605-4277 if you would like to call in to this show. I didn't intend to call in to hang up on the last caller. We just had an explosion of sound just blowing everything up. So you can call back in, 702-605-4277. Get that back going on. So anyway, Patty, what is, go ahead here. Now you got the floor to yourself. Let's hear what you got to say.
Oh my God. Well, I just hung up the phone from Bran Thornton. And so I want to give just credit where credit may be due here. I think there's a supernatural reason that everybody in LaVoy's truck wasn't killed. I mean, obviously, it's the hand of the Almighty is on there. But this man, Brant Thornton, you hear him in the videos, and you've probably bumped into him. I don't know if you were up there before the ambush. He's not back there now. They've got a warrant for his arrest. I think all the people that were original people at the resource center have arrest warrants now. And so he's in Cedar City, and the sheriff said he's got nothing to worry about, that they'll take care of him. They admire what they're doing, and he's going to be okay up there, Cedar City, Utah. And so it's interesting that he's been blowing this shofar. It's Israelite people, and I don't think the Jews are Israelites. I'm one of those CI kind of people. But he has this curled horn that you'll see. Sometimes you'll see he has two of them, and you'll see them blowing them and hear them in videos. It sounds like this, this blast of a horn, and it's a shofar. And what it is it's a defensive and a aggressive offensive weapon in the spiritual sense, that it makes a sound. And he's actually had someone, that analyzes this sort of thing say it's a sound that really helps collapse things, because we live in a very fluid, holographic universe in quantum physics and whatnot. And he says it helps put things on our side. So he was actually missing that day. He had to come back down to Vegas for a deposition a couple days before that, and he has survivor's guilt that he wasn't up there when this happened, because he probably would have been with them, and feels bad about that. But I really say that the fact that he's been so faithful in blowing, him and his a colleague of his went out to Bunkerville before the standoff, and during the standoff they were there with those. They were there at the barbecue. But more, they were up there, and you watch the videos and you'll always hear it. And that's who's doing that. And I believe that brought some supernatural protection to those people, because there's no way you can put 200 or 300 rounds into a truck and only have one person have a shoulder injury. It's just crazy.
I mean, we won't know how many rounds until we get a hold of that truck. They moved the truck now. We went to go try to find the truck a couple of days ago, and it's gone. I mean, it is.
Oh, of course it's gone. They're never going to release that.
No, they've already called BONDO Corporation.
Oh yeah, exactly. They're patching it up, but it's because they're hiding their tracks. But no, I think 200 rounds is probably accurate. Victoria said 120. Shots were fired, and SHAWNA Cox said, "Oh, well over 200."
Well, I mean,
and the FBI said 3. So
FBI said 6, and we have the witness that wandered up on the scene also said he heard 6 shots. So the FBI is only talking about the first stop. Seriously, I have followed. I get up in the morning. I do my station business, and I cover, follow, count all day long. And I really, and a lot of people agree with me. I think I got the line on this. That, you know, I mean, there's a cover up going on. I don't know if we'll ever see any of that other footage. We'll probably never see the truck. And their report of 6 shots was at the first stop.
Exactly. But here's the other thing I want to bring up. This.
All right, hold on a minute. Sherry.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, you have the most horrible noise coming out of your phone I've ever heard. It's like, that's the reason I hung up on you earlier.
That's all right. Is it better now?
Yeah, okay, it's starting to stabilize now.
We're getting ready to cross the river and cross the border into Washington.
All right.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know.
All right, so when you get home, you have a bunch of other footage you shot. You're going to get over to me so I can get it up on the YouTube?
I'm working hard on it. Apparently I have a bandwidth problem that I gotta resolve.
Well, you're headed home now. You're headed home, so once you get home, you'll be able to get it up, right?
Yeah, Brett assures me he can help me with this problem.
All right, well, listen, I want you to have a very safe drive home, and give me a call when you get a little sleep and let me know what's going on. All our callers bailed on us.
I can't imagine why. Well, I'm gonna bail on you too pretty soon here, Hawk.
Okay, I understand.
And but you know, I just want to say this. I think it's remarkable that the video that I watched last night was an enhanced video that was showing that just the part where they were killing LaVoy had nearly 3 million views already. It was like 2,985,000 or something like that. I was so stoked to see that. So stoked that people are so watching this closely. I feel like everybody that's awake, semi-awake people have now turned into these citizen journalists and citizen investigative journalists where they're analyzing everything that comes out and looking at it. And I think that's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, and everybody's working hard. I think this event has been monumental in waking an awful lot of people up. Sherry, go. You're next.
Well, it's absolutely true that this has woken a lot of people up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. I want to stress it's even more important for everybody, you know, in the day of smartphones and cell phone cameras and such, everybody needs to have those things available and ready, because that's the only way the truth will come out, is if everybody just records everything. You know, the individuals, the citizens, the alternative media, independent people recording everything, the truth will always come out. If we leave it to the government or the mainstream media, you'll never know it. You'll never know the truth.
Nope.
You know what's interesting about that, Sherry, is I was just talking with Michelle Fiore about that, last week, and because the number one most popular request in the Nevada legislature this year, coming up, the next session coming up, is going to be body cameras on all the police. I say everybody needs to wear a body camera now. I mean, that's how crazy this all is. And I believe at Chicago, Illinois, they're trying to ban citizen journalists, people taking videos at an arrest when they're being harassed. They understand the threat that is to their tyranny.
Yeah, they actually tried to shut Mike Bluehair down, said, you need to turn off that camera. We caught that when he was filming Santilli's arrest.
Yeah, that's, I've heard that in several areas, that they're trying to make that illegal, and it's so wrong. And it needs to be fought. And it needs to be fought at every level, local, county, state, everything. This has got, you can't shut people down. It's, freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And that includes bloggers. They have freedom of the press.
Well, Sherry and Hawk, you've been doing an amazing job at this. And I'm honored to be part of Revolution Radio, looking at the job that you folks have done.
Hey, thanks
so keep up the good work.
Thank much, Patty.
We'll try and pick up the baton here on Friday.
remind everybody what we got going on Friday, so everybody can be kind of watching. So
It'll be about, I think we're leaving here, we have an hour difference, we're leaving about 6 or so, and so I'll let you know, I'll put it in the chat room and here on Skype, when we know what time we're gonna be arriving, and we'll be ready to rock and roll then.
all right,
So-
sounds good. All right, you have a great night.
All right,
Richard, thank you for
all right,
doing that.
you guys
Thank
too,
you,
take care,
Richard,
everybody,
very
good
much
job.
for doing that.
Yep, bye bye. All right, next call is area code 571. Who dat? Where you at?
Or me.
You're on the air. Go ahead. Area code
Yeah,
571.
this is
Okay, area code 304. Area code 304. Who dat? Where you at? You're on the air.
Yeah, this is Don Justice, West Virginia Command of Militia. People have to get out there like they are right now. The militia is a different defensive over. If you want to attack, we will be around.
Yeah, that's true. We're trying. You know, it's like if you can't put your body on the road, put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely, that's very important.
You know, everybody knows
if you
how
wanna
expensive
be
this
fair.
is. Everybody knows how expensive this is. You know, I'm sending Sherry money every day when she's in the field. So, you know, and it's not like I don't have a money tree.
Well, it's too early for the fight, in my opinion. We've got to get some warm bodies out there. If
Well,
they
we
push
got-
against
Yeah, we got to get them woke up first.
this is somebody there. It's made up of the people.
Right.
Doc, I think people are waking up, I really do.
I don't, but I think this event is really kind of starting to galvanize everybody, though.
Well, with 3 million views on that video, I think it's telling something.
Yes, definitely. All right, hold on, Sherry. Area code 510. You're on the air. Who dat? Where you at?
Jim in Fremont, California.
Wow, a caller that I can hear. That's new.
Hey, I wanted to talk about the Hammons and how this all got started. I wanted to point out that the Bundys came from their state to help another cattle rancher, and then they asked the community to recognize the injustice, but the community wasn't willing to recognize that injustice. So, they came to a community that was broken, and I think that's the way it's going to remain if evil still exists over good. So I see that the Bundys represent good.
Well, you know, I mean, isn't it about, you know, about helping your neighbor? I mean, you know, there isn't a distance limit on helping your neighbor. You know, me and my wife, you know, it's not a distance limit, but we had a huge flood here that completely wiped out the town below me. And me and my wife, we went around town. We went to Walmart, everywhere, internet, everywhere we could, got donations. We bought supplies. And you know, I live on the hill, so we're called the people on the hill around here. And we cooked for that whole town every day for 3 days, 2 meals a day. We would go down there with tins of lunch, and then we would go down there with dinner. And plus, and when everybody started getting stabilized and dried out and back up out of the ground and going back home, we took all the money that we had left from those donations, and we went around and found all the worst struck people and gave them, you know, grocery cards to try to help them, you know. And, you know, but there is no, you know, your neighbor is your neighbor, and there is no limit. You know, there is no mileage limit on who your neighbor was. So, you know, they were going out to help their neighbor, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's the way I see it too, but it's the community as a whole that's responsible for what happened there to the Hammonds because they let it happen.
Well,
and,
yeah, I have to
and what
agree
has
with that.
happened now. So I, just like you, I would help those that are not helping the Hammonds, because I'm a Christian. I'll do that. But those that were not helping the Hammonds, would they help me if I needed help?
I have, dude, I don't know. People say, I've had people saying, Nighthawk, you need to get off of this because nobody's going to help you once they come for you. And it's like, actually, yeah, that's not the truth. Sherry, I'm getting background noise.
I would like to comment to him.
All right. Well, let me finish my statement. I can make a call and have 150 people here and one of them with a helicopter in 15 minutes, and I know that for a fact. But that is not the fact for everybody. So, you just need to get involved in your militia communities, your patriot communities, your activist communities, and start getting to know everybody. All right, Sherry, read out news. You're next.
Yeah, he made a very good point. That community really is broken. It's been corrupt for a long time. The judge runs two different branches of system. It runs the judicial and legislative, because he's not just a judge, he's a county commissioner. He also appointed the sheriff. The checks and balances in that town are just not there anymore.
Yeah, totally broken.
Lots of examples of the corruption in that town, and how, especially the BLM, because that's a ranching town, and the BLM is just taking over everything and taking away the grazing rights, etc., and causing more issues.
And they're buying. Apparently they're paying these guys for this. All right, area code 510, and Sherry, stand by a minute. We have another caller in. It seems like if they don't get their voice in like 10 seconds, they're hanging up. And 520 has been hanging on for a long time. Area code 520, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Big Red down in southern Arizona.
How you doing, man?
I want to first, other than being hot as hell under the collar about all this, doing good. Listen, we got to remember one thing. This treason and corruption you're talking about up there in Harney County, we just had a district judge rule that our city council was illegally elected. They're still down here passing laws. Ain't nobody doing shit or covering shit about it in the media or anything. And if you bring it up, they hang up on you and they ignore you.
Well,
the corruption runs deeper than that. How many people do you know of people that have had their kids taken away or investigated because somebody got mad or jealous?
Well,
for no reason, kids taken away.
I can relate to that one
a
whole lot.
So,
a lot of cases.
So my whole message in this, not to cut you off, my whole message in this, everybody needs to stand up in their own communities. Call their city councils, mayors, whatever. Make sure they're following constitutional law, the state and the U.S. Constitution. It doesn't take but 5-10 minutes a day to read a paragraph of the Constitution and study it. If everybody educates themselves, starts calling their constitutional representatives, their sheriffs, get to know your sheriff's names. We just had a new one appointed. I haven't even had a chance to call him, see if he's constitutional. We need to stand up in our own communities. Spread that fire. Help others do it. Take turns calling.
Yeah, and everybody has to work together, and all this division needs to stop. I mean, all this left, right, middle, conservative, really, it's like everybody I don't understand why some people, I don't even understand the concept of giving up your rights to feel a little bit safer. It just doesn't even make sense to me. And, I would like to put in my own 2 cents here. Do remember the BLM, and we're starting to see a very fast takeover of land in the West. And do remember that just this last summer, we had this Jade Helm thing in which they moved massive amounts of military equipment into the West, but we never saw it leave, and we had people covering that. It never left. It's stored all over the West. So what are they doing? So, that's my thing. 520, stay straight. I want to find out if this unknown number is the same guy that was goofing off last night. Go ahead, unknown number.
Hello, am I on the air?
You're on the air, and we'll see how long you stay, because if you're the same guy who was calling me last night, you won't be long. Okay?
I'm not, I've been paying attention to the, what's going on in the ground, but I haven't been paying attention to what's going on in the courts. I want to know, what was going on with, Ryan and anal BUNDY.
Can I handle that?
Actually, I just shut it down. That's the same guy as last night. I don't know what the hell that dude's on, but he needs to put his whippets up.
Can I handle that?
I've already.
If y'all don't know the truth, don't share it.
Yeah.
Period. About any of the information, man. Spreading rumors or what you think is true. Come on, man. That's not helping the situation.
Yeah, I already.
So for those of you that
I already,
I like this and sharing it on Facebook or whatever, that's not it. That doesn't cut it. It's making the problem worse.
That's cool. I already hung up on him. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
I don't generally, here's how I feel about this. If you're a stand-up person and you call in and you hide your phone number, well, then you're hiding behind a keyboard. If you call in with your regular number, I'll never share it. If you call in with a number and you're going to act like a retard and disrespectful jerk, I will publish it in our chat room, and then everybody will call you and troll your ass at home.
I get him. Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. Godspeed to all of you. I got to get out of here.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling in, man. Peace out.
Thank you.
All right, Sherry, you were next in the circle.
Yeah, it's my turn. Okay. I want to respond to some of what I've heard tonight, and it's all really good stuff. The biggest thing that people can do right now, the most important thing, it's an election year. And instead of worrying about two candidates in a national election, everybody needs to be concerned with their local election. They need to be concerned with everything happening all the way down to your school board. School board, city council, county commission, state representatives, state senators. Those are the most important elections for everybody. And in order to ensure that everything is done properly, people need to jump up and volunteer to be poll watchers, not just poll workers, but the watchers as well. This is the only way to ensure that our election process is done fairly and accurately. Everybody needs to be involved, and there are ways for everybody to be involved. They don't have to do a lot of traveling. They even get paid to be a poll worker. But it's very important in order to ensure that the good constitutional candidates get a fair shot is for everybody to be a part of the system. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, that's very true. Everybody's got to get, there's a statement that's on another show, get vocal, local. We all got to start within our own surroundings and work out from there. All right, area code 510. You're back in the circle. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'd like to compliment you and Sherry especially. After Pete Santilli and Deb seemed to drop off with Pete's arrest, I noticed that Sherry popped up and took up the flag, the banner, and she comes across very honest and with a lot of integrity, and I would pay attention to her as a person and support what she's doing, and I know she's partnered with you, so I want to leave with a positive message. Thanks a lot for hosting my call.
Hey, much appreciated. You have a good night.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right, area code 605. You are next. How you doing? Where you at?
Hey, Hawk, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool.
How you doing? Area code 605. You're on the air, and you got a lot of background noise.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing, Hawk?
Not too bad, man.
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why? I seen a part on the internet. Can anybody tell me why they have AMMON in solitary confinement?
Right now he's getting a whole Sherry.
Yeah.
I'm getting horrible noise from you. It's making it hard for me to do this.
I'm crossing a bridge, so it's probably it. Go ahead and cut me off, and I'll sign back on in about 5 minutes.
All right, no problem. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, sir. I did not hear half of what you said. Go ahead. Say that again, please.
Okay, somewhere on the internet, me and my wife were looking, and they have AMMON BUNDY separated from the rest of the group, but in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day, and I'm wondering why.
Well, I can probably answer that. Actually, his dad posted a letter and state. Area code 352. Remove your background noise, or I'll have to hang up. And wait your turn, please. Anyway, stand by. I mean, I'm fielding calls, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Anyway, so their dad issued a letter today or yesterday to the sheriff and the courts and everybody else that really, quite honestly, now they're taking it out on AMMON. It was retribution for that. And I posted that earlier, so.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everything you're doing, Hawk. Me and my wife have donated to you, so you keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you very much. You have a good night, sir.
You too now. Bye-bye.
All right. Area code 352, you're next.
Hello?
Yes, you are on the air, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? First off, I just want to thank all of you, the Radio Revolution and your reporter. I forget her company's name. If it wasn't for any of you, none of us would even know any information. It's just crazy how all the media is staying away from this. Even like InfoWars, they call themselves, everything for the truth, and they're not even covering any of this. I just wanted to ask you, any update with the protests? Are they going to keep protesting, or is that all done with?
Yeah, it's all done with. Everybody went home. Actually, I had to send Sherry home because it's so expensive to keep her out there. And, so we sent her home and it really sucks because that's what they want is the media to go home, but I just can't afford to keep people out there, at damn near the tune of $200 a day. And maybe another fire will start, but that we don't know. So, all right, hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Area code 443. Turn off your background noise, or I have no choice but to hang up on you, please. Thank you. But that's what we know, and the next thing that we have to deal with here is LaVoy Finicum's funeral, and we're going to go down and talk to all the Bundy family. There's one back in our list where we went out and interviewed some ranchers today that live in the area, and that was a very good interview. And then we had the SHAWNA Cox, the way cleaner audio heard interview right after that. So, it's all
that already came out, or is that coming out?
It came out. You look one back in my list. It was earlier today. It says, or it's two back in the list. It says interview with ranchers. There's another one in which I did a station ID kind of thing that I haven't had time to go up and edit and fix because the title was wrong.
All right. Well, thanks again, Lynn, to all of you, and just take it easy.
All right. Thank you for calling in. You have a good night. Peace out. All right. Area code 702-605-4277. You would like to call in. Our next caller is, hold on, what just happened here? Who's this? Area code looks like 801, or no, area code 443. You are next.
Yes, sir. I believe I was speaking with you about half an hour ago. I called from Maryland. My name is Tom. I was speaking with a gentleman by the name of Nighthawk and an unknown female, and I was calling in from the show on the Watchman News channel, and off and I turned back the feed, and that's what I was checking, by the way. I apologize for the background noise. There was another group of people on there, so I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm still on that YouTube channel, but there's a whole new group of folks with apparently a different show, and that's why I called back.
Watchman had another obligation he had to do, and he dropped off. So I'm just doing call-ins from anywhere, people around the world. Is, and like I've said 100 times, be respectful and keep the vulgarity down. We'll take any call and talk to you, no matter what your position, as long as they can be respectful. And it's really funny. Anybody on the other side of this is incapable of being respectful in it, and it sounds like they're like half buried in a bag of weed.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the conversation you picked up earlier. I did hear from you that to contact you at Freedom Slips Radio. Is that correct?
It's freedomslips.com. Unfortunately, Watchman Radio, he has a banner, and his banner is covering up my website link, so it makes it a little difficult to see. But it's freedomslips.com. You can contact me there. Just jump in our chat room over at the website, and there is a button on the left side that says Our Crew, and you'll find me in there as Nighthawk.
Oh, did you say Night Owl?
Nighthawk.
Nighthawk, okay.
Yeah, Nighthawk.
Nighthawk, would that be directed? I could write you an email or a letter at nighthawk@freedomslips.com or
you need to go to the website and find it because the spelling is not normal. It was my call sign. Yeah, it was my call sign in the military because I used to jump out in the middle of the night with radios and go set up. So I was with the radio corps in the Air Force.
Are you recently out?
Oh, hell no, dude. I'm 50. Hell no, I'm 51, dude. I've been out for a long time.
Okay. All right, well, we're pushing the same few years before the grave, so I'm right with you. At any rate, like I said, I just wanted to contact you, let you know who I was, what expertise I could offer for you, and to find out if it would be of help. My most immediate concern, again, I'm talking for a while, probably talking into empty when we get cut off, but what I simply said, and I was going to then leave the air so someone else could get a chance to speak with you, was that my most immediate concern were the kids that were still up there, and to find out what, if anything, was being done to facilitate a safe removal, and again, if there was anything I could do to be of us.
The occupants are still there. We talked to them for 3 hours last night. They're not. I even asked them. I said, if we could get you out of there, will you leave? And they said no. So, I mean, they're kind of putting their fate in their own hands. I support their tenacity, but I think they're just trying to get themselves in a body bag if they don't just stop what they're doing and just get out of there. It's like you can't. Yeah, they're trying to fight an unopposable force at this point. So.
Well, that was my concern. I mean, listening to the young man talk last evening, I could tell that he had very noble ideas, and he, I believe, is doing what he believes is right. And quite frankly, I think it's a noble cause. However, at the same time, I could see.
Well, crap, I lost my caller. All right. Anyway, I got a second call. Area code 443, you're on the air. I'll have to wait until he comes back.
Yeah, could you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out the fact that, it goes to show how they're trying to, hide the movement, on the Constitution and the rights of the people, and the whole, how they're saying that, the law, where the federal government stands compared to the laws of the people, and they're hiding the fact that basically, they're saying that there's county laws compared to federal laws, which are garbage, and they're just slowing down this whole movement. So they're trying to buy time, and this is the type of stuff they're trying to do. I just wanted to point that out too. What you got to say, like on the media, the mainstream media, are they talking about the Constitution at all? Do you guys know?
No, well, I mean, you can see that yourself. The mainstream media doesn't care about this. The mainstream media is controlled. The mainstream media, if you just go look at the name of the corporations of any mainstream media, they're not press. They're all.
It just goes to show that this is what they're going to try to do to defend the Constitution, and that's what they did to basically slow them down on this whole movement. The last thing the BUNDY said, the family last year was saying that the mom was saying like, we want to help other families out. Now after the New Year, they're helping out this family, and this is the first shit that they pulled. This stuff's a bunch of garbage, and just want to call and take one of my calls and say, fuck the police.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I 100% agree. But if you go look at any of the mainstream media, all of their corporation names are something entertainment. And I need to let everybody know real quick. If I lose your call, it's not my fault. We're using Skype, and sometimes Skype will just drop a freaking call, and I have no idea reason why. I haven't hung up on. But I've hung up on one caller tonight for acting like a retard, and that's it. So, and we have another caller, but hold on. Area code 573, stand by. Go ahead and finish, 443. Go ahead and finish, 443.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, I'm here. Go ahead and finish.
I mean, that's all I want to say was just fuck the police.
Well, we've got to do something, and we also have the cop block people out there working with us and all that kind of stuff. So, but hey, man, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, hey, good job, guys, and everything, and thanks for filming today. And prayers to everyone out there for LaVoy getting shot, and hope this doesn't slow down the movement.
All right, thank you very much. Talk to you later, sir.
All
right, area code 573. You are on the air. Who that? Who that? Where you at? Who that and where you at?
This is Bill Holland. I'm the publisher of Free Zone Media Center News.
How you doing
I'm
tonight?
in Missouri, southeast Missouri.
How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm going to get off here real quick because I know you're busy. I've been following this thing on our website since the beginning. We've had, I guess, about 60,000 views. I've been on this site for 7 years. I do it by myself. I'm 57 years old. And earlier you had a girl who said she was living on $700 a month. I live on 760 and do this about 14 or 18 hours a day like you do. Question I want to ask you, which we can talk about later if I can figure out how to call you or you call me, is do you have a tab, a widget that I can put you in my right column so that if you're on the air, my viewers can get you? For example, we have the LRN radio, Sean Hannity. There's about 6 radio stations running on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's freedomslips.com, freedomslips.com.
I got that. I've already had it. I've got you bookmarked. But how do I get in touch with you about getting the widget if you got one?
All right. Well, the YouTube channel is, I'm assuming you're there, but I have to tell you, I am a social media retard. I'm just learning how to use YouTube. And I guess they have these kind of things and alerts if you're subscribed. And that's, I mean, I got to say, honestly, that's all I can tell you. I'm trying to find people to help us with social media that understand that. I'm an old radio guy. And
well, so am I. I had a postcast license in 1959.
Right.
By the way, I was in the Philippines in 1958 in the Air Force.
There you go. So, how many years? I was attached to SAC, and I was in a special radio corps. We were supposed to be anywhere in the world in 24 hours, set up and ready to go, in case.
I was a ham. I was a ham when I was about 8 years in the 8th grade. And actually, my last year or so in the Philippines, I ran the Mars station. I guess you know what that is.
Hold on. Sherry, you're doing it again.
The girl's back at the noise.
All right. Anyway, yeah, Sherry from Readout News is back, but she started making that noise again.
Yep.
All right, you're back.
I want to get off and let you go ahead, but did you hear that last that I gave you?
Yeah, I got the rest of that. Listen, man, thank you for your service and brothers in arms. And, you know, I keep telling everybody the time is now, because if we just let this kind of roast. And,
well, we're trying to get the word out for you. I mean, I'm not producing anything original. I have trucks. You'll see it if you go on my website.
All right.
Do you mind if I give the URL?
No, go ahead.
Okay, it's www. I think I was drinking the night I named this thing because it's way too long. It's www.free, F-R-E-E, zone, Z-O-N-E, media, M-E-D-I-A, center, C-E-N-T-E-R, news, N-E-W-S.com.
All right, so there you go.
I guess you're telling me to go to your website and send you a message or something with the phone number, right?
Yeah, just go over there and pop me a message. Actually, I'm working on a new website, and I have a webmaster that's going to go over there. I don't know a damn thing about WordPress. Ask him to make you up a widget. It's a little box that we can control the size of it, and what it says is, whatever the name of your radio station is, and click here to listen. It's pretty simple. Right. Yeah, I'm a website designer, but I work static. I design static websites, and I just don't trust PHP. Never have. But he's going to put this together, and the new website is going to be the fifthcolumnlive.com. We haven't got it put together yet. It's just right now. It just says "Hello World," and I've not had time to do this, but we're going to start joining all these media and militia together if they want to work with us. I know I've noticed a lot of competition. It seems like all the alternative media is competing against each other just as bad as the mainstream media, which is ridiculous and stupid. Because
Now, let me let you go. I got one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
I made a mistake today, and I tried to load the video that had the Cowboys first, and then it had Shawana Cox's new information.
Right.
I loaded the wrong URL, and it was something else that you had done. But I couldn't find it down in your videos. Is it on there now?
It should be. You may have accidentally ran into. Let me check. I'll look.
I think I just made a mistake. What it was is I didn't copy and paste it right, and whatever was in the copy paste before I tried to copy paste is what it put up. It was one of yours, but I'll go look for it. I heard somebody say it was two videos back or something in the list.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 videos back with the ranchers. The other one I haven't gotten time to edit and fix the title. Because when you do the live stream, it just does. To me, it just seems to do whatever the hell it wants to do.
All right. Well, you're not talking to me, and you're tying yourself up. So let me get off of here. Thank you for your work. Thank you for supporting this cause. And we're in a hell of a mess. I talked to Sheriff Glenn Palmer today, and I don't know. I mean, we talked for about 10 minutes. But I'm not sure he's on the right side. He's supposed to be on the right side, but
we went up there to try to interview him several times. He's gotten quite a shellacking for making it look like, because everybody thinks he set them up. And and we went up there and we have proved ourselves neutral media. We're media.
Well, I heard something today about he might have known that was going to happen before it did. That's true. That's it.
Right. So he doesn't. If he doesn't want to give his story out, well, it's too bad. We're headed home now. So.
Yeah. Well, somebody needs to get the senators and representatives like Walden to go down there and stand right there and say, I want to go down and talk to those 4 guys. Somebody else ought to show up in court and say, this is wrong.
Right,
You need to let
exactly.
these people go. Give them bail.
Definitely. And, AMMON got his detention hearing held off. We're going to go back to Sherry with Readout News. Thanks a lot for calling in, brother.
Thanks, Nighthawk, and have a good day. Goodbye to everybody.
All right, you have a good one. All right, Sherry, you have the floor.
What are we discussing? Are you there?
Disgusting noises. We're discussing everything. But I'm having a absolutely horrific time here.
Discussing everything?
We're discussing everything, but I'm having a horrible time hearing you.
Well, I'm in Washington. I don't know if that makes a difference.
What the hell are you doing in Washington? You going up there to get a bag of weed?
That's how I go home.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I didn't know that.
I'm traveling 395 all the way up through Spokane.
Oh, okay. Well, I live in Kentucky. I don't know. It's like, why the hell is she going north to Washington? I thought Idaho was east.
Well, it is if I want to go to Boise.
All right. Yeah, that's right. You live all the way up there in the little end of the pencil, don't you?
That's right, I do. I can almost throw stones at Canada.
Well, that's okay if you throw stones at Canada. They'll go, oh, cool, that's okay, eh?
You're absolutely right, eh?
You live so close to Canada, I'm surprised I ain't heard you say, eh?
Well, I don't have my passport, so, I can avoid that.
Can't you, walk across the border?
Not at the border crossing anymore. I'd have to go, where they don't have the fences.
Yeah, people always talk about, people can come into Canada and they can get over the border, and, well, now they can't because the border crosses is like, oh, give me a break. Is there a fence going across that border?
Well, they're a lot more secure on the northern border than they are on the southern border.
Well, isn't that interesting as well?
Yeah, and you need a passport now to get into Canada, seriously.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I mean, when I used to live in upstate New York, we used to go up to Canada all the time, just to, up there around Niagara Falls and stuff. And
yeah, you could do it a couple of years ago. I sent my kids up there on school trips and stuff, but you can't do it anymore.
Right. Kind of weird. People in the mod rooms, please throw our number again if anybody wants to call, because we're getting ready to wind down, and if people aren't going to call, we'll just go ahead and shut down. And but we have had a lot of great patriots call in tonight and supporters of what we're doing, and I just want to thank all of those people. And you've had so much great support, Sherry, for getting out there, doing the news, and not making the news.
Well, I got to tell you, Hawk, I really appreciate you having me on the show. This is my first real experience with doing stuff like this. I've been on a couple of little blurbs, but I'm finding that this is a new outlet for me, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And I really appreciate all your callers.
Well, definitely, and we're wearing you out. I know that.
Just a little.
We're wearing each other out, honestly. I have to say.
I think I might take tomorrow off.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay around tomorrow, catch up on all my redneck TV shows, and eat stuff all day long.
Well, I may have to write an article or two, but other than that, I'm going to hibernate.
There you go. That sounds great. All right, stand by, stay where you are. I don't know if I can get this to happen. Son of a bitch. Hold on, I forgot to buy a buying plan. All right, go. Do me a favor. Go ahead and continue with, your weeks out there, because you got about 4 days in, and there's about 8 more days to go. I need to go up and buy a calling plan. I'll be right back.
Okay. I guess that means I'm talking, and I'm going to talk about all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah, you're going to talk about all kinds of stuff while I go fix something.
Okay. First off, I'm going to give my website a plug, and that's readoutnews.com. REDOUBT news.com. News for the American Readout. And if you don't know about the American Readout, we'll have a whole show on that one later, because I'm sure I could talk into that. But we've made several trips to Bern, and quite a bit of time. We've covered all of their rallies. We've been to the refuge. We've met most of the people that were considered occupiers that actually called themselves Citizens for Constitutional Freedom. We have met many, many residents on both sides of the issue. We've talked to people out of the area that have come in to support the residents. I do have very definite feelings about the fact that of what happened last week. Not just the fact that LaVoy was killed. He was a great, great man. I really am proud to have had him come into my life. But it's more than that. I'm having some very definite feelings about the arrest and the charges and the really stupid comments by the judge in the arraignment hearing and such. Pete, may not have been everybody's favorite, shock jock, but the fact is that he had every right to do what he was doing. Freedom of the press is one of the foundations of this country, and freedom of the press doesn't just go for national news, MSNBC, Fox News, CBS, and that's not what freedom of the press is about. It's not about the New York Times. It's not about the Washington Post. It's about all of those and so much more. This day and age of social media, anybody who does regular Facebook posts are covered by freedom of the press. You can be a blogger. You can do YouTube. You can do anything you want to, and it's still considered the press. And if anybody doubts that, I'm going to send you to a different website, not my website, but I wholeheartedly support it. It is called the Constitutional First Amendment Press Association. It's CFAPA, and Mark, is that .org or .com? I don't remember. It's James Rawls' site, and you can actually get press credentials from there. I encourage everybody to get them and carry them. And don't let anybody ever shut you down when you're filming an event, be it a traffic stop, be it a press conference, or any other event that you happen upon. Get out your cell phone and start recording it. Even if all you can get is audio, record it and then write it up and stick it up on Facebook. Because the only way we're going to keep this country honest is by documenting it. Are you back yet, Hawk? I guess not. I'm going to keep going. The rally yesterday in Bern was, it took about 3 or 4 hours. We had probably 400 or 500 people there. It started out pretty evenly split as far as who was standing on which side of the sidewalk and the issue. It, after about, is that you coughing and sneezing? No, I didn't hear a thing till you started coughing. Yeah. Well, if we don't hang together, we will certainly hang separately, won't we? Okay. Okay. Well, I think we need to ask for more donations for you then, don't we? So did you get Deb on the phone? I would love to get an update on how Pete is doing. And we're going to. I think you just don't like me.
Hello. Hi, how are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Oh, I do. I indeed. It, mhm. Well, with they released on bail with conditions Joe O'Shaughnessy. And so that makes two now that they have released. And then Shauna Cox and Joe O'Shaughnessy, and they get to return to their home states and travel back and forth for the trial. So, Ammon, I don't know why he was his was postponed today. Something must have come up. I don't know. His attorney did not say, but that indeed. Uh-huh. You know, I'm not so sure. I mean, we've been looking at the we've been watching it really close, right? But we were looking at the letter, and you know, at this point, I really don't even know what to say. It's very confusing, and you know, we'll just have to let Ammon work that out. I know that Clive Bundy did indeed say that, you know, that they weren't giving the refuge back to the federal government in some form or the other. I haven't read it myself, but somebody had told me that, so I am aware of it. But I just got settled in, and I haven't had time to look at it. So, but yeah, it is kind of it is kind of buzzing around everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe there was something that happened with John Ritzheimer in Florida. Florida. Did you hear what I just said? Arizona. My mind is mush. I've had like 2 hours of sleep. And I think there was something. What happened with that? Oh yeah, yes. People were there that were protesting, and something happened with that one. Yes. Mhm. 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 Right. They're adding to that. You know, and I believe there's a few more warrants left to be served. So, and I can't speculate who those are. They're keeping that pretty much under wraps. But, yeah, it sounds about right. So they have added to it in the last couple of days. Well, you know what, they got they got their statements out there. They can't be taken away now. So even if they put a gag on order on them now, it's, you know, they did get their testimony out. So, you know, to the people. So, you know, there's not really much they can do unless, of course, you know, they hold Shauna. We did not hear anything about Shauna Cox today. I haven't heard anything about her. There's nothing, anything about Shauna. I know she's in town.
She did with Dave Hodges. I think it was last night, and when she went over the whole thing, and apparently her brother was killed in a fire the night the FBI told them they had to move
Yeah.
all the firearms away.
Was that her brother or her son-in-law?
Or son-in-law. Okay, yeah, sorry.
It was her son-in-law. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just crazy. I'm my biggest. They're going to shut this up if they can. Earlier in the show we were talking about. We have found out that when they pulled them over initially, somebody just driving down the road headed from Burns to John Day to pick up their daughter wandered up on the scene at the vital moment, and I think that's the only reason anybody's still alive.
Oh, it could very well be.
Yeah, and
I know that there was a witness, and that's been and that person, I believe that video where we've seen like a part of that video that passers-by they took photos or something of the truck up on the flatbed.
Actually, that was KOIN that got the pictures of the truck, and the
KOIN got the pictures of the truck.
Right, they had already been called and were on site, so they were at the roadblock. Everybody that saw the video that the FBI put out, that was the white truck, the white vehicle that pulled up after everything was over. The person that wandered up on the scene came in. Excuse me. The person that wandered up in the scene came up on the initial stop, and there's pictures there that went out on BBC that I got that shows that the back windows of the Jeep had been shot out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. The narrative is destroying itself as they go, and the FBI is just being very silent now.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to interject. Hi, Deb. This is Sherry.
Who's in the background?
Hi, Sherry.
Is that Sherry? Okay, yeah, that's Sherry. Okay, go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, I do want to interject that I did see the Jeep on Friday, and the windows were intact. So if it's the same Jeep, then the feds had to have picked up that car for him before they gave it back to him.
Right.
That's all I wanted to throw in.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I'm sure they probably fixed it because, we all have our suspicions there anyway. But, the pictures on the BBC report on all of this, although extremely slanted, still shows the back windows of that Jeep being blown out because you could clearly see all the guys down on the ground. The Jeep has been turned sideways or almost sideways. The back windows are gone. We can't see the other side of the car where they said they shot out the rearview window. But, you see the guys we know were arrested are on the ground looking at the camera. So, it's pretty clear their narrative is breaking down. They're trying to fix it. They moved LaVoy's truck. If we ever see it, it'll be after they go buy a brand new version of that truck and fix it up the way they want at this point, I think.
Mhm. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, we're not. I mean, because we are separated from the actual town now. There's really nobody's talking about it here in Portland. I mean, it's like being on a different planet here. It's getting very little media attention.
It's a definite vacuum, and mainstream media. Actually, when all this went down, mainstream media, even Fox News, which is more right leaning, made it a half a page down byline. So mainstream media doesn't care, and they're not paying any attention to this whatsoever.
No, they are not.
So
after the first week, you could see the media dwindling a little bit at a time, and
right.
Down to now just nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's anybody in Burns. I know that there's going to be a memorial for LaVoy on Friday, and that's it.
Yeah, they're doing that.
You know?
Yeah, they're doing that in
And
Burns.
there's not much media left.
Right, they're doing that in Burns. We're sending our reporters headed for Utah for the funeral, and we'll be doing interviews with all of the Bundys. And although, out of respect, even if they want us to, just out of respect, I won't. I don't want the funeral itself filmed, but we're going to be covering the procession and then having interviews with all the family and everybody down there. So.
Hey, Deb, how is Pete? Were you guys able to see him and speak to him?
Okay. Well, Pete, he went for his appeal because the first judge denied him bail and wanted to keep him detained. And so we did the appeal today. And actually, he did very well in the appeal. The judge, the government tried to say, that, Pete had mental instability. And the judge said, you can't prove that. Show me paperwork. Show me where it's doctor. You can't prove that. And then they tried to say that he had no stability in Ohio, which is where we want to go back to. So I took the stand, and I talked about mine and Pete's relationship, and that we do live together, and I have a family that he is, that he's part of now, and we have our studio, and we have a great apartment. All of our things are there. We live together. And, it's something that Pete and I don't talk about a whole lot, but we are partners. I mean, we are life partners, and, and I care about him very much. We have a great life together. We really do.
So
Pete Santilli is not just the person everybody hears on the air every day. He's actually a human being who has a life.
Right. So I say this in jest, but you're not his CIA handler?
Oh my gosh!
I've heard
I think Sherry was there to see. She saw she knows what it's like in Burns. And
yeah, I know.
It's not as easy as everybody thinks that it is.
Yeah, that's the new thing. You're the CIA handler. It's moved from FBI to CIA.
Oh my God! Well, I hope they have fun with that.
Yeah, exactly. Not me. I don't care. Go ahead, Sherry.
They're using these videos as evidence against him and everybody else. Now they want to turn around and twist it and say that he deliberately provided it to them to use against himself. I mean, that's really kind of dumb.
Well, you know what? I mean, I've seen that little thing out there that Suzanne Posel and Vinnie Eastwood are trying to do, and La Cavera and all these other just insane people. I've seen what they're trying to do, and I really don't have too much time to worry about it. But let me tell everybody something. Pete, he did not have as much access to the people on the inside of the refuge as mainstream media did. Mainstream media even admits that. And they were shocked by the arrest of Pete Santilli. They were shocked, even mainstream was shocked by it. And, mainstream media has thousands and thousands of documented photos of all the people, thousands of hours of video and interviews. Just because you haven't seen them on the news doesn't mean that they don't have them. Indeed, a lot of times they would, the people, mainstream media producers and cameramen and all of those people, they would do interviews and they send them up, and Fox News wouldn't even touch them. But Fox News had people, as of yesterday, when we did the rally. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. The day before yesterday, right? Yeah.
I saw that.
Oh yeah, yesterday. Sure. Mainstream media
So mainstream media is filming all of this, and they film hours and hours, even though you may only see a minute and 35 seconds of it. That they spent their whole day filming everything that's going on. So Pete's not the only one up there filming. Nobody has. He live streamed it. He did exactly what he always does. The FBI. Pete. It was an ongoing joke that Pete was on their jumbotron. That they had a special trailer where they all just sat around in their underwear, watching the live stream, and eating popcorn. It was an ongoing joke here in Burn. So, is the FBI going to use that? Of course. Are they going to use every interview that Ammon Bundy did? Indeed, they are. The very first interview, the very first video that came up out of that refuge was not done by Pete Santilli. It was done by a local girl who, I think she's in her 20s. She went down there initially, followed them from the fairgrounds, and we did not go, but she was there with her cell phone, and she is the one who put out the very first video of Ammon Bundy saying, "Please, everybody come." That famous video was not done by Pete Santilli. It was done by a young girl who was a local. So, go ahead and listen to Suzanne Posel and Vinny Eastwood and all these crazy asses out there. Excuse my language, but
I cannot.
I mean, seriously, if people want to listen to that, then let them do it. They're going to. I can't stop it.
Yeah. Susan Posel was gonna try to be a host over here, and we're more right leaning, but I let people range everything they want, and there was something she was doing that was just basically, I'm like, I'm sorry, but this and that, but is this really your view? And I mean, are you and I don't even remember the exact conversation. And then she goes, "Oh, okay, so you abuse women," and that is just kind of the end of that. We had Benny Eastwood here for like 3 weeks, and he quit because we weren't working with his agenda. I guess I don't know, but we do what we can. And I know you don't have time to do this, but I'm still blocked for your chat room because I said, "What the hell does Operation Outruck mean?" Because I was trying to get some information myself when I was trying to sort all this out, and I'm blocked to this day. And and then I went in with all of my other channels, and I said, "Are you aware that Saturday Night Live lampooned that whole signing of the dildo thing?"
No, I had no idea.
Right. Okay. So, they lampooned that, and then there was this hashtag floating around. It was called. What was it? It was hashtag Pete Bag of Dick Santilli, and I posted it in my chat room. And your chat room moderator has banned all of my channels and won't let me say anything in your channel to share information because I posted that in my own chat room. So I don't care. I can share information with you, and we have talked a lot of times, and I think we're kind of eye to eye on all this. I don't agree, and I've told you this before very clearly. I don't agree with Pete's style, but he is press, and press is press, and leave the press alone.
I don't care if somebody likes him or doesn't like him. I'm the sentence of death is right to do what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
And that judge really pisses me off when she questions whether or not he's a journalist because he does it on YouTube. I'm sure she'd much rather have Rachel Madcow hanging tampons from her ears and calling that real news. Sorry, that's my real news.
I like it.
Exactly.
I like it.
All right. Hey, Deb.
Hey, I do want to throw one more thing in there, Hawk.
Okay, be fast. We have callers coming in too. Sherry, please. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be real quick. This is on LaVoy's truck. I want to make sure and get it out there that we are putting the FBI on notice that they cannot destroy that vehicle and replace it because it is evidence in a wrongful death suit, even if it's not evidence in a criminal case.
Yeah, actually, that truck, that
Yes.
I bet that truck is already in China with the rest of the World Trade Centers.
Okay. Well, I've said my piece. I will mute and listen. Go right ahead. Have fun.
All right, I was kidding. You know me, always the comedian. All right, stand by. Deb, we have a caller, and I will say this over and over again. If you cannot call in and be respectful and watch your language, whatever side you lean on, I will hang up on you. And if you call in and troll this show, I will publish your number in our chat room, and we will let other callers troll you at home all night long. For anybody that calls in. Okay, anyway, next caller is 903. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think what's going on here with everybody with the Constitution is great. And also, as far as LaVoy, I think they just need to dig him up, shoot and get him.
Okay. Did he just say dig up LaVoy and shoot and kill him again? That's what it sounded. I hung up. I'm not sure what I heard. Anyway, go ahead, Deb. So, I think
let's address that. That is so disgusting. Okay, and that's what we're dealing with here. That's the American people. Those are the people that he thought he was standing for. It's pretty bad. That's just.
Oh, you know what? Don't worry. I'm publishing his number in the chat room, and now everybody can go troll him right the hell back. I'm not afraid to do that. So.
LaVoy would just turn around and smile and let him say what he wanted to say, and that's the sad part. LaVoy would just let him keep doing it.
Well, to me, it's like I'm a little closer to this than some people. LaVoy was, you spent some time with him, but I talked to him on the phone every day for anywhere from an hour and a half on, and then we would do a 30-minute sit rep on air for literally 2 weeks. And so, it's kind of hard for me to hear that kind of stuff. It just kind of annoys me, pisses me off. Area code 505, you're on the air.
Yeah, it's not good.
Area code 505.
Hi there. Yeah, not good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you very fine, ma'am. You're on the
Great.
air, and you're on the air with Deborah Jordan. Go ahead.
So I live out here in New Mexico, and I've been we caught the conversation that you had with the remaining 4 out of the refuge yesterday, which was awesome. I'm so glad you finally got that call because all of us were freaking out. But I haven't been able to find any information on if anybody is headed up there. There were some other people that called in saying that they were going to go up there and check on them. I know that he didn't want an extraction or anything like that, and they're up there standing their ground. But they did ask for a response from the American people. And here's my issue. I have an 18-hour drive to get up there, and I need some credible information about what's going on. I mean, are we going to be able to walk through the barricades, or are there still
they have the
FBI hiding out?
We have the road is blocked, and I have pictures of that. And listen, area code 501, stand by and wait your turn. We have pictures of the roadblock. It's 3 or 4 little tiny road cones. They're not made out of bombs, and a road closed sign. If somebody wants to go up there, you could probably go up there, but it's 5 miles. It's at the turnoff, right, Sherry?
Yeah, and you'd have to walk up there and not take a vehicle, I'm assuming.
Or you
Okay,
could.
well, have you guys heard from anybody about how they're doing, or if anybody else is booming up there?
I haven't heard anybody. Actually, the whole town's clear. All the protesters and most of the militia is gone.
I feel so terrible for them, dude. I'm really ashamed of my countrymen right now for the lack of response, seriously. And The thing is I could go up there, but if I'm
Can I
standing
make-
out
let
there
me-
by myself.
Hold on, ma'am. Deborah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
make-
Go ahead, Deborah.
Yeah, let me make something clear. Let me make something clear here, okay? Please don't be ashamed of your countrymen, because we did everything that we could do to talk to them and get them to come down, and they just refuse to do it, and they expect a lot. Sherry's been up there. These guys have been up there. They know that the roads are blockaded. The FBI is so sick. Anybody who goes up there is going to be slaughtered. The problem is they want the militia to come in and have a miracle, But that's just not going to happen. It's not feasible. Anybody who goes up there.
What I heard him say is he wanted the American people to respond, not necessarily the militias. And what he said yesterday
Well,
was,
in the beginning.
Don't
but in
come
the
with your
beginning,
guns. Let's make a point without guns. And that's where
But
I
in the
stand right
beginning,
now. Because aside from
all
all
right,
the people
hey,
that are
hold
doing
on.
terrible things and saying terrible things, there's a lot of people that have been waiting for this moment who constantly say, well, what can we do? How can we stand together? Like waiting. The problem is that everybody wants someone else to take all the shit for them, and that's terrible. You know what I mean? It's a terrible way to think, and I just feel like there's a moment in history that has been made right now that is totally passing my countrymen by. By my countrymen, I mean us, the regular people, not, necessarily the militias, but just us out here living our lives, watching these terrible things happen to us. It's not just happening to ranchers. I mean, I go to court and I stand on the common law all the time, and I take a lot of shit in my everyday life, and I make a lot of sacrifice. And I feel like it's a losing battle, and it's really hard to watch. And I feel like we're missing out on a chance right now to really come together and make that change, because voting obviously doesn't work.
Yeah,
When these men, they went through all the proper channels, they went to court, they changed the law, and they still were under fire from it. And it's hard to watch, man.
Well,
I've been torn up for days, like a lot of people,
Yeah, ma'am, calls could be made, and a lot of people would go and extract them and move them to the net. It's like the live to fight another day. We are really in the calm before the storm, because I want you to remember something. Jade Helm emplaced thousands and thousands of militarized vehicles in the West over the summer. And right now, the BLM, under the control of the government, is now selling off all of our Western lands and mineral rights off to foreign companies, foreign corporations, other countries like Russia and China and everything else, because we are in so much debt to all these other countries. I think the land grab is way more extensive than we even know. And it's going
and it's definitely under the control of the UN, that's for sure.
Yes, and it's going to spark a war, because the people in the West, beyond the Mississippi, if you look at that map, are way more, it may be different in the Appalachians. I'm out in the woods in Kentucky and out here, we're all, we all have rifles and firearms and hunting rifles and all that kind of stuff, and we all grow our own food and all that kind of stuff, but if you really look at the timeline of this going, wait, you got to climb back a little bit, you will see the state of what's going on. I think Deb quit the conversation, but you'll see the state of what is going on as we work our way all the way into this. And now we have the first fire. But, these guys, they're great. I like these guys. I like their tenacity. I like their fact that they stand up. But I think we need to get them out of there and move them on to a fight another day. The only reason I can find that they seem to want to stay where they are, and I might be wrong, is one of the guys has felony warrants in another state. He won't leave because the federal government wants to use those felony warrants in another state to nab him, and his friends want to stay with him and protect him, which is admirable.
Well, you know, when they're out there on that refuge, they feel like they're standing on their cause, which I totally get. And as soon
Well,
as
yes,
they leave
of
that
course.
refuge, their asses are going to jail, man. You know, and so for them, from their perspective, why should they leave? You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
yeah.
and I understand that what we're facing right here is a lot bigger than just these ranches, and it's a lot bigger than.
Well, yes, it is huge, but you know, human life when the army on our side is so thin, every human life is so important that we can't afford to lose any of them, especially the leaders, and we just lost one.
Yeah,
so
man, boy, that.
Right. So, you know, it's really important that we live to fight another day. And everybody's grieving over, even myself, over LaVoy. That's going to be addressed this Friday. And then we're going to move on to the next fire point. Because all of us people can move way faster to the next to the next ignition point than any of these people. These red tape and all of their junk can move, but don't forget, the weapons we can buy are non-automatic rifles and firearms. The U.S. government has Black Hawks and machine guns and bombs and fires and Hellfire missiles and tanks and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, this is a guerrilla warfare kind of idea that has to be done.
May I jump in for a moment there, Hon?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we also have another caller.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people who don't know what to do. And they feel like they need to give up on the voting, just like I commented earlier. You know, they don't feel like voting is working. But I have to tell you, our founders designed an awesome system in this country. And that is what LaVoy and AMMON and everybody else is trying to get everybody to remember. We do have an awesome system in place, and it can work. But what you need to focus on is not the presidential election so much as your local election.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I go to court and I stand on the common law all the time. I stand on the Constitution and my human rights, and I've been told several times by judges here in New Mexico that they don't feel like they have to uphold the Constitution. Holding these people accountable, you know, if you have never had to go into court, then you can assume that there's a legal process there to protect you. But those of us who go up against it and actually try and use it in the lawful manner know that they do what they want. There is no rule of law in those courts. And we can see that clearly in this national case, but I deal with that for little things in courts every single day. They do what they want. There's no rule of law.
Yes, it never is. Okay, hold, hey guys, we need, being a call-in show.
I know you need to move on to other callers. Thank you for taking
No,
my call, though.
I want you to stay there. I just want to make sure our next caller doesn't feel left out. Area code 501. Do you want to weigh in?
Yes, I do. First, I want to thank Revolution Radio for bringing this opportunity to us to be able to call in and speak to your guests. I was particularly interested in being able to say something to Deb. I've been following this whole situation from the beginning, and I first learned about it through the Santilli show. And I kind of have the same opinion of Pete as a lot of people. He's different. He's not like Deb. And so I think Deb she's a moderating. She's what Pete needs. And I wanted to tell Deb, I want to encourage Deb, first of all, because I know that what you're doing and what you're dealing with can be very frustrating. And it takes a lot out of a person. And I want you to know that there is no one individual that I've come across in watching this whole thing unfold that I have more respect for than you and LaVoy Finicum. LaVoy, to me, exemplifies everything good about this entire movement. There's a quote I'll share with you by Albert Camus that says the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. And that's what I see in LaVoy Finicum, and that's what I see in you, Deb, and that's what I see in so many other people. And so I just wanted to encourage you and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Hey, much appreciated. Deb's gone. I think she got frustrated and left.
That's okay. Well, I'm
but
glad that I had the opportunity to call in, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And it's recorded, and it will go back up in the archives. I want to do this real quick. Again. This is LaVoy's obituary that the family has released. Robert LaVoy Finicum was born on January 27th, 1961 in Kanab, Utah.
Do what?
I'm reading LaVoy's obituary. Stand by, please. Anyway, Robert LaVoy Finicum was born on January 27th, 1961 in Kanab, Utah, and he was murdered the day before his 55th birthday on January 26th, 2016. LaVoy was born to David and Nelda Finicum and had 6 siblings: Sherry, Guy, Jody, Mill, Misty, and Toddy. LaVoy was married to Dorothea. Oh man, hold on. I screwed up. I got a troll, and now I got to undo this, and I've lost my place. And all right, so frustrating trying to do these kind of shows. All right, so to return to the obituary, LaVoy went to school in Page, Arizona. He served full-time mission in the Dakotas for the Church Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I think that's Mormons, which he was a faithful member his whole life. He served in many church positions, among them Young Men's Program, Ward Mission Leader, Elders Quorum, and President, High Press Leader, and a member of the Bisphoric. LaVoy worked many years in property management, but his passion was helping children and ranching. LaVoy had over 50 foster boys over the course of his life, whom he was able to have in his home and mentor over the course of the past 19 years. He loved working on his ranch and teaching his children how to ride horses, brand cows, and do ranching, and most of all, follow Christ. LaVoy loved God, his family, and his country. He believed that the Constitution of the United States was inspired by God, and he was willing to and did die while defending our freedoms stated within. The funeral services will be held February 5th at 2:30 p.m. Utah time in Kanab, Utah, at the Kanab Stake Center, 1435 South McAllister Drive. Viewing from 11 until 2 p.m. at the Stake Center. Arrangements will be made with the Hughes Mortuary of St. George and Mosdale Mortuary of Canube. So if you can go there and pay your respects, please do. All right, so there you go.
Yeah, maybe that would be a better idea, to go up there and pay respects there instead of trying to go up to the refuge. I was just wondering if those guys had gotten any response after their transmission over your radio show yesterday. You know, the last thing that I just wanted to touch on is that the thing that makes me worried about the state of the country these days is to see so much of a show of support for a movement that ends up burning down buildings, looting all kinds of stuff, and then you see somebody who's standing on the Constitution trying to go through lawful channels get gunned down, and then have so much hatred come out about it. And I know that there are FBI provocateurs that they put into all of these movements to cause this violence, to discredit everybody, but honestly, I think that the American people are in a very serious state of just, you know, I'm a believer, and in that Bible it says that there will be a time where good is called evil and evil is called good. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, you know, and my heart goes out to the Finicum family, and, you know, I don't know, man, I'm just, my heart hurts for my country and for my fellow countrymen, and I just, I appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm glad that you were able to get that phone call out so that we know the guys at the refuge are at least okay and weren't taken in the night. And, we support your efforts 100%. And without, independent radio, none of us would know the truth about anything.
Exactly. I think I think there was a Buffalo moment that went on in which that you may have gotten Sherry telling that the refuge had been cleaned out to kind of stop that. I don't know who your source is, but to kind of stop that protest from going out to the refuge. What do you think about that, Sherry?
Well, that's possible. The source that I had is a pretty credible source. They were probably given false information, and that could have been the very reason. I don't know.
Right. If everybody ran out to the refuge, it could have just been a freaking, turkey shoot anyway. All right. I think area code 501 is next. I think. Area code 501, you're on the air? Oh, they hung up.
All right, well, I'm going to let you guys get to whoever's going to call in next, but I just wanted to say thanks again, and we really appreciate everything you're doing, and, everybody just stay strong and stay the course, and don't lose heart.
Hey, much appreciated. Thank you very much. Actually, the calls have come to damn near a full stop, and we're probably going to be silent.
Deb, may I say something to Deb? May I say something to Deb?
Deb has been gone for about 18 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. I think she got frustrated with one of them callers, so she just left.
I'm sure, but since I'm traveling, occasionally I will get a cut in and out here, so I don't always catch it.
Right. So anyway, you're headed home, right?
Yes, I am. I should hope to be home in a couple of hours.
All right, and you can go get some downtime, and then I can call you and tease you in a couple of days, right?
Maybe if I get enough sleep tonight, I'll call you tomorrow and bug the crap out of you.
There you go, and hopefully Brett can get the video from the other stuff where you couldn't get live stream, get that uploaded, and we can get that moved on into the system and kind of go from there. And we're probably going to be more or less silent because I just don't waste time, money, or bandwidth on anything. Here comes unknown phone caller again. But I just don't, I don't waste time, money, and bandwidth on stuff. So we'll be silent for a couple of days, and then Patty Aiken will be at the funeral, in which we will be trying to. We have access, and we'll be doing interviews with all the Bundy family and some of the other ranchers around there, and we won't be at the funeral. We won't be filming at the funeral, and I refuse to film at the funeral. But there will be a parade and procession after this, in which we will be trying to film with. I got all these unknown phone numbers coming in. Okay, area code 570, you're on the air.
Hey, Hawk.
What's up?
You're a cunt. Big up, LaVoy. Big up, LaVoy.
All right, next number, unknown phone caller. You're on the air?
Yeah, I got a mic check.
You're here.
Alrighty, thank you for letting me on here. How's it going over there?
Filtering out the BS is always an effort, but you're next. Go.
Alright, thank you.
Did you have something to say? Hello? All right, you mic checked and you're on the air. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Solid talking.
All right, well, you're on the air. Let's focus on where we're at, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to give my respect and honors to the family.
Hold on, I had to hang that call up. Folks, if you're going to call in, you need to turn your background noise off, or I'm just going to hang up on you. Go, caller.
Yeah, I gotta check my check.
Dude, hello? Hello? Caller, you're on the air. All right, well, you know, it's damn near midnight. I'm going to shut down, and it's starting to get a little retarded, Sherry.
Okay, not a problem.
All right, you have a great day and have a safe drive home. Go get some rest.
Yep, and you get a good night's sleep because we're going to make you start again tomorrow.
All right, have a beer on me. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Good night. All right, folks, we're going to buffer this out for about 60 seconds, and we are out of here. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I guess we'll find out. We'll definitely be in at the funeral Friday and doing what we can, getting some interviews, stuff like that with the ranchers out there and the Bundy family. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow or another day. I'm not sure. It just depends on what's going on and what we got. Talk to you later. That's all the news that is the news. Good night.